Hello everybody, welcome back to the Football Film. It's been a few weeks, we've all been on holiday, we've all had stuff to do. It's pre-season anyway, so we haven't missed out on anything. I'm lying, there's loads going on. Players are just refusing to turn up for training anymore. They're not going on pre-season tour. Referees are going to start wearing cameras at the start of next season, which is absolutely belting. Anything else?
We went to Australia and New Zealand.
Oh my gosh, we've been so busy, haven't we, lads? We've been so busy.
In a helicopter?
We were in a helicopter, speedboats. We've been to Australia on like a pre-season tour with Wrexham, which was phenomenal.
Yeah,
absolutely phenomenal.
Down in pints of Guinness.
Down in pints of Guinness are fun. We've had the best time. It's been hard work, but we're back now. The grind is on. Football feeling's back, and we're looking forward to it, aren't we, lads?
Yep.
What we starting with, mate?
Cameras, referee. So last year it was announced that players are going to be interviewed when they come off as a substitute.
Yep.
It was really interesting to hear. Oh, do you know what? I was really surprised actually that like people in the comments were like not for it. So I think it's like a nice evolution of football.
I think they see it as it's getting so far away from the actual football now. They think it's just a bit of a show. It's becoming more Americanised, where there's like half-time shows, and it's just detracting away from it. People just want the simplicity and purity of their English football.
Maybe I think it might be a British thing where it's like none of that nonsense.
Yeah, none of that nonsense. Let's just get straight back down to it. But I agree. I love it. I think.
But
it's
all they're
class.
waiting for is someone to slip up, aren't they? That's what they want. They just want someone to slip up so they've got content to put online.
But they're only going to do it apparently is for the walkout and the coin toss. And do you know why they're going to do it?
So this is the camera on the ear for the referee.
For the referee, or is it on the chest or is it on the ear?
Yeah.
So the reason why they're only doing it at walkout and coin toss is because that's the time where it's a little bit more sedate, all right? There's not so many emotions flying around. It's nice and calm and everybody will be respectful, because if they did it in the game and they showed the referee up close and personal where he's just made a decision and the player's telling him to cough, yeah, it will just expose everybody.
Let me ask you a question then. So if that does happen and the players are being told that, is this not the opportunity for football to change its culture?
Yes, it is.
A little bit.
That's exactly what it is, isn't
where
it?
we go, 2-game ban, you can't tell the referee to F off like that.
But I think the thing is with this as well, it helps protect the referee, because you'll have players that are being a bit of a prick on the pitch and they'll say things, but also it might help the players as well, because don't get me wrong, referees can be pricks as well.
Yeah.
They're the ones who can antagonise a player and wind them up and even just shut them down and talk to them like little kids almost.
You know what? Imagine that. Like, we're all expecting the players to be on earth as absolute whoppers, like massive, massive knobheads, and then it turns around that the referees are the ones instigating it.
There'll be one or two. There'll be one or two. Do you know when we talk about the players coming off at half-time doing interviews now, what I'd love to see is, I think it's very difficult, but the referee, so almost like at half-time, 5 minutes with the referee, but...
We won't be far away from a referee having to do it either at half-time or full-time. Post-match, guaranteed. You have to have it soon.
Because of the evolution in the technology, so if you'd have said this 3 years ago, you'd have gone, no, you can't, because it's unfair on referees. They haven't seen it, and it compromises them. But now, with all the technology, I want to see them justify it.
Exactly, I'm with you. I think at the end of the game, each referee that has refereed that game has to come out and he has to talk about the 3 big talking points, yeah? The 3 moments. They might not be massive or goal, like, causing or anything like that, but at least just explain his reasoning for why he saw that and why he chose that. I think VAR kind of covers them a little bit, because...
You've got to think about their families, though, their lives away from football, because everyone's so emotional and you've got the fans...
But I think this is the time for them to humanise it, though. That's what I'm saying. I think if they've made a bad decision on the pitch or something, at least then come and... Put his reasoning why he...
Right,
and then I think people understand that. Do you know what I mean? It's like if a club owner... Like, if a club are struggling and the club owner comes out and goes, I can't pay wages, or I can't buy this player because I haven't got the money because of this, this and this. At least then people know why, don't they?
Will people just accept, though, a referee saying, look, I got it wrong, I missed it, I'm sorry?
I think they would.
So.
I think they would on the whole, but with the technology now, though, that's becoming less and less.
Yeah,
because
they shouldn't.
They have to say why now, because they've got the technology. Now, if they have a little 10-minute conflab after the game and then they get rolled in front of the camera, fine. And they turn around and they've spoke to PGM or whoever it is, and they go, the reason why we did this, because the letter of the law says X, Y, and Z. You might not like it, but that's the letter of the law. And like you said, yeah, they've got families, but ultimately, we all have jobs. Everybody's accountable.
But then you'll have everyone in charge of VAR at Stanley Park. They'll go, well, we want to hear from them because they're the ones who didn't overturn it or they did this.
Where does it end?
That.
Okay, well, we should hear from them then.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
Yeah.
All right, should we talk about some big transfers, lads, or possible big transfers anyway? Because there's quite a few floating around at the minute. Strikers, like I think every year we have a bit of a like. It's weird how you might have a few goalies moving or a few finally, it seems like strikers are moving. Everybody has realised that they actually need a striker. Man City have had Haaland for the last 3 or 4 years or whatever, and they've gone, oh, do you know what? We could do with one of them. And it's taken them 3 years to finally catch up.
Can we just quickly talk on the goalkeeper situation? Because when we were in Australia, because we always wait for this big first domino to fall with the goalkeeper.
Merry-go-round.
Yeah, and we said when we were away, Petrovic went to Bournemouth for 25 mil, was it? Or something like that?
Yeah, and Kelleher has signed for, obviously, Brentford as well.
Yeah.
You're talking about two, like, second choice or third choice goalkeepers in. Normally it's normally it's the first choice that goes, the big move, and then that creates a space for somebody else.
Kepa as well.
Kepa going as well,
and
second
you
choice.
You said to me, like, when we were away, you said something along the lines of, oh, this goalkeeper will be fuming because that's his move.
Yeah, gone. It's class how it all works. Like, as a goalie, you get to the end of the season, right? And there's probably, I'd say for the Premier League anyway, there's probably 5 or 6 goalkeepers with eyes on, oh, they might need a goalkeeper. He didn't do fantastic last season, or he's getting a move, so that frees up a space for me. I could possibly go there. But that spot applies to maybe 5 or 6 or 7 goalkeepers maybe that could go and fill that spot. So they're all sort of looking at thinking, I want that spot, I want that spot. And then somebody else gets that move into it and you think, damn, that's one of those moves gone. That's I should have had that move. That's one of them gone. Then you start looking at the next options. And if a player gets linked with this and linked with that, and then that might possibly... We've had Richard Lee on the podcast, haven't we? Like, famous goalkeeper agent, right? And he is literally doing this all day long, every day. Yeah. He is planning and plotting, looking at all these teams, going, there could be a space there, though, because if he goes to there, that frees up that space there. And I think this player is perfect for that little spot there.
It was Aaron Ramsdale that at the time, we went, ooh, like Bournemouth, he's been there, and we thought that could be
It was really interesting to see what was going to happen. I think Man City signing James Trafford is the reason why Aaron Ramsdale then goes to Newcastle, because I think Newcastle were in for James Trafford at the same time as Man City. As soon as Man City make their mind up and take James Trafford, which I think is probably a no-brainer for them because they had the sell-on percentage, so it ended up costing them sort of like, I don't know, 20 mil or something.
It feels like they're buying him to then sell him again next year, really.
And they'll have all sorts of clauses. I just think it's a no-brainer. He's an English goalkeeper.
So who starts at Newcastle, Nick Pope or Aaron Ramsdale?
Oh, this is going to be so... I really don't know.
As well, it's a World Cup year as well. You've got 2.
Honestly, the thing is, right, I love both of them. I absolutely love both of the goalkeepers, and for different reasons as well, right? If I'm talking about a pure goalkeeper to stop the ball going in the back of the net, Nick Pope is one of the best you'll find, right? For stopping goals at the source as well, yeah? Balls into the box, he'll come out and clear everything. If you're talking about an all-round goalkeeper, proper rounded, can do a bit of everything, Aaron Ramsdale's your guy. So it depends what Eddie Howe wants, whether he wants to go, right, I'm changing from this model of just having a goalie who can just stop the ball going in the back of the net, and I want to become this team who can play out from the back, and we're a bit more we can do everything. Then he puts Aaron Ramsdale in goal. But it's a big decision.
Look at the England GKs, like you said, Toes. It's World Cup year, and potentially you're going to have James Trafford, who's been involved in the squads, on the bench. Potentially going to have Nick Pope or Aaron Ramsdale on the bench. So if you're Jordan Henderson or
if you're Jordan Pickford.
Do that again,
No, we're not doing that again. That's staying in. That's definitely
You're Jordan Henderson, you've got a chance.
Jordan Henderson's got no chance, mate.
If you're Jordan Pickford, right, or Dean Henderson. Oh, that's why I did it.
Mate, it's like a rich time for goalkeepers. It's good. It's like, I want to see it. But again, though, if Aaron Ramsdale starts for Newcastle, Nick Pope ain't going to want to sit on the bench. He doesn't. He's a goalkeeper. He's a good-to-go goalkeeper. And there'll be other teams looking, going, well, if Nick Pope wants to come on loan, we'll take him out on loan. I promise you we will.
It's a good age as well, isn't
he? It's a really good age. He's good to go. He's a good-to-go first-team goalkeeper. He's like, those sort of goalies that are good to go, honestly, I think they're worth their weight in gold, that you know you can rely on, that you can hang your hat on them. They'll be there for you.
Nick Pope.
Exactly. Yeah, it's good, though.
I'd take him at Wolves.
Without doubt. Without doubt, exactly. Wolves,
of course you would,
Wolves are looking for a goalkeeper.
With
Sarr and Johnson at the end of last season, so it'd be super interesting.
So we get back to strikers?
Yeah, come on then, let's get back to it.
So what we're saying then, so Benjamin Sesko, what we were reading this morning is that Leipzig's valuation has been met by Newcastle. United are in for him and that it's down to the player to decide.
Yeah.
What's your thought process here?
He's in a golden position, isn't he?
Yeah.
When you've got two teams.
To be fair, it's a weird one because Arsenal were in for him, weren't they,
Yeah,
before?
they
But they
were,
never
yeah.
met the valuation. They were like pushing for 60 million, whereas Leipzig wanted 72, obviously. But I mean, as a player, that's two good options. I mean, where you, I'm going Newcastle.
I don't know, mate. I really don't know. Do you know what? It completely depends on this individual player. Like, he could have grown up being a massive Man United fan from afar for all.
Yeah, sure.
You've got to think about... He's got to wait as well to see what's happening with Isaac. So, again, we're talking about merry-go-rounds. Isaac is going to go somewhere. It's pretty obvious now, yeah. Once he's thrown his toys out the pram like he has, the whole club know it now. Everybody knows it, that Isaac's going to be gone.
Yeah, but
They're just playing a game of waiting to get the full amount for him.
But this is the whole thing. It is a waiting game. It's just like if United and Newcastle don't get Sesko, it's rumoured that they're both in for Watkins, but Watkins isn't going to go unless Villa replace him. So it's been a really good window, hasn't it?
Sesko, right? If he
Champions League football, Newcastle.
If he goes into Newcastle, again, Champions League, absolutely, that's a massive draw, right? But he's got some big boots to fill there with Isaac, right? Massive boots, hasn't he? And as a striker, I don't know if you necessarily need that kind of excess pressure as well.
Yeah, because strikers fancy themselves, don't they?
You'd like to think so, yeah. But he's got massive boots to fill there, massive, right? Whereas at United, he hasn't so much. It's Man United, like, I know they're not the Man United of old, you know, in actual, like, what they do on the pitch is not what they used to be, but in stature, it's still Manchester United, and you're going to get the same wages no matter where you go. The fact that you've got two is you might just be able to bump it up by an extra 50 a week.
The other thing, yeah, that's true. That's true. The other thing with United is, we'll talk about United, because I don't know whether I'm getting sold the dream, but I fancy them to do something this year.
Right, I watched the highlights of their friendly last night, and they were pretty good, you know. They were actually pretty good. Cunha and Mbeumo.
Linking up.
Ahmad up there as well.
Mate,
Like-
if you put Sesko, right, I can't report and say, oh, he's brilliant. I haven't watched a lot of him, clearly. I've seen the clips like most people, but I can't say I've watched him play 20 games. I haven't. But if you were to put him up top and you've got Mbeumo,
It's a
Cunha...
threat, you know. Like, the energy them three bring, that I've just mentioned, Ahmad, Cunha and Mbeumo.
Yeah.
Like,
It could like become part of the new revolution.
it's what
But
they're
also,
crying out for it.
Man U's issues, where were they? Defensively as well.
Yeah.
Central defence, midfield, sorry.
Talking about goalkeepers a minute ago, we didn't touch on Manchester United crying out for a goalkeeper. Absolutely crying out for a goalkeeper.
Would they take a Nick Pope?
This is, honestly,
No.
you do.
Why? Why not?
You do.
Playing style.
It doesn't matter. You do so much worse than getting a Nick Pope. I think it would be a fantastic fit.
I know,
I really
I know
do.
what you're saying,
Like
but when
said,
you're
a
talking
top
about styles...
goalkeeper, top goalkeeper in terms of goalkeeping. Brilliant, Nick Pope.
I totally agree. Man United don't necessarily just go all out straight play from the back, right? That's not their style anyway, right? And I think Nick Pope can still play out from the back, by the way. I'm not demeaning him, right? He can still play out from the back. But if you're looking to get it to the forward areas as quickly as possible, Nick Pope's your boy, mate, honestly. And he'll stop goals. It's as simple as that. Onana's had this big injury at the start of pre-season anyway. He's looking like he'll only get back fit maybe just for the start of the season. But you don't want that from your goalkeeper. You want him to have had 4 or 5 pre-season games under his belt, weeks and weeks of training, get that into the legs. And there was also a lot of questions raised at the end of last season anyway, thinking that he's probably not going to be the first choice goalkeeper. Nick Pope will be looking at this thinking,
It wouldn't be an expensive one, no.
No, I don't think it would. You'd probably be able to get out on loan for the first year.
Let me ask you about... So with Sesko, where he goes to be decided, if he goes. Watkins is the backup, right? Let me ask you about Watkins. So he's been rumoured to be going to various clubs. Arsenal, we're looking at him, Newcastle, Man United. It hasn't happened. Why isn't anyone, Fozzie, pulling the trigger on him? Is it his age, the lack of resale value? Is it purely the fact that Villa needs to get someone in before he goes out?
All of the above,
All of it, yeah.
It's literally all of the above.
The resale, isn't it? That's probably the biggest one nowadays because of the FFP and everything like that. You know, you're going to spend £40 million on Watkins.
Yeah.
Well, was he 29, 30?
That's what I mean. I think that bit there, the FFP bit, the resale part now is the most important thing now. It really is. You need to know that you're not buying this player that's 29 that in 2-3 years' time when the contract finishes, he's going to be worth zero.
But also you're looking at a player who's very explosive. Pace has like been a big part of his game, and people start looking at it like 29 years old. When will he start to lose his pace? People just start asking them questions already. That'll be a natural thing to happen.
I think he's pigeonholed as this Villa striker, a fantastic Villa striker, and I think that's about the ceiling.
Oh, I think that's unfair, because I know what you're saying about the
very good ceiling.
explosiveness,
Ridiculously high
but
ceiling.
it's unpredictable, isn't it? Because you look at Son, right, and explosive, quick player. You look at Salah, and I'm not saying it'd be really disrespectful to say that Son's legs have gone, but look at where he is now versus where Salah is. That becomes really hard to predict, doesn't it?
It's lost a little bit.
Yeah,
Son,
massively. Son's legs went end of last season. Like
he'll say it.
Honestly, they went. They did. He's been an incredible player for Tottenham. But I've got Luke here nodding away like you wouldn't believe. His legs went spectacularly last season. Like he had a lot of injuries.
Quicker than
he had a lot of injuries obviously last season, and it was. But I think it's took its toll on him. And there was a couple of times I watched him in the Europa final when he came on. Like that turn of pace just was nowhere there. But it's like it's abandoned him, and I think he's probably realised this. And with what's going on at Spurs, Ange getting sacked at that, I think it's probably a perfect time for Sonny to move on.
10 years at the club.
Yeah, 10 years at the club. He's a great guy, great servant. I don't necessarily worry for Ollie Watkins' legs. I don't necessarily worry. I think he'll keep that for at least a couple more years.
So FFP, right? So what we're not talking about though is this risk, which is always a risk of a player coming in from Europe.
Yeah.
It's a different league, the pace, etc., etc. What price do you put on 18 Premier League goals every season?
I know. A lot of money, mate.
Ollie Watkins, right? 18 Premier League goals, give or take. Yeah. He's going to score you.
The problem is that it's a big price because you're paying for proving, and that's the bit there that is the most expensive bit.
So 60 mil. Let's say 60 mil.
60 mil, and it's 200 grand a week. It's 60 million, it's 200 grand a week. 5 million a year. 10 million a year,
let's say it's a
4
year
years,
contract.
5 years.
4 years.
4 year contract, let's say, so it's going to take him to what, 33, 34. So would you not attribute 15 to 20 million a year for that many goals?
If you can guarantee the 18 goals every year, but that's the thing, it's the question mark, isn't it? It's the potential downward spiral that could happen. But that's a bad thing to think about, really.
Ifs and buts.
I think it's almost kind of like more glossier to look at a Sesko, who's what is he, 22 years old, is he?
Yeah.
Shiny,
still doing it in Germany, smashing it. Even if it don't really work out from here for the next few years, you'll still be able to sell him for, even if you buy him for 70 mil, you'll be able to sell him for 40, 50.
The prime example is Darwin Núñez, right?
Yeah.
And he has... How would you assess his talent so far?
You're exactly right. It's the prime example, right? Bought for an absolute ton of money. What was it, 80 odd?
I'll tell you the prime example is Højlund, who they've already got.
Still be able to sell him for an awful lot of money. But they did pay a lot of money for him.
Yeah. They were 50 odd mil. 56 odd mil.
They'd still be able to get, I'd say, 25.
I think 30 is the price tag.
Right.
Yeah, 25. Núñez, same sort of thing, 80 odd mil, right?
But they're going to get 50, 60 back.
They'll still get 50 or 60 back for him. It's exactly that. Because of his age.
That's Saudi money, though.
It's that potential. He's still got potential in him, yeah? He's still got potential.
What's your summary of him so far, Núñez?
I think there is a player in there.
He's not a kid.
No, I think when you buy these younger players that have all this potential, eventually at some point the potential needs to be realised. And I just think that he's been in Liverpool and been around the club long enough now that the club are watching him and thinking, I just don't think that potential is as high as what we thought it was possibly going to be. That extra little bit. He's got a bit of nous about it, he's got a bit of anger about him, but I think he's just a bit too scatty. And I think that's the problem with Liverpool. They want somebody that they can rely on to be
that absolute elite level.
He could
join what?
He could join a Villa, he could join a somebody, and it'd be a problem, a massive problem.
I love loads about him. I love so much about him. He hasn't got that what Isak's got. He hasn't got that.
Oh, that little calmness, that bit there. Let's talk about Isak. Yeah? Let's talk about Isak, right? So, by all accounts, he has fully thrown his toys out the pram. He has refused to join the team on the pre-season tour. It's very obvious he just wants to move, and I think if the club now are at a point where they know it has to happen, because you can't be carrying a £150 million asset around that doesn't want to be there anymore. It's a sorry state of affairs, but it's football. We've seen it before, and we will see it for the rest of our lives.
But the thing is, as well, he has to respect that the club have got a valuation on him.
Yeah.
So he has to be like, right, I don't want to play for this club anymore. I want to move to Liverpool, which is pretty obvious. Yeah. Everyone knows that. I want to go to Liverpool, and the club turn around and go, right, well, if they offer 125, for example, then you can go. You need to respect the fact that we're not just going to lower our expectations just because you want to go. So he needs to respect that.
So 110 mil has been rejected.
Yeah.
The price tag allegedly is 150 mil.
Of course.
Yeah. Now you'd say at the age that he's at, I think he's had 2 seasons consecutively where he's scored 20 or more Premier League goals.
Yeah.
So at the age he's
at... Is he 26 years old?
Yeah. And is he 26?
25?
25, 26? Yeah. But where we're at in the world, like from a commercial perspective, you'd have to say that's value.
Right. If I was Newcastle, I don't get how Liverpool can make a bid for Alexander Isak of 110 mil, right? When they've already paid 113, was it, for Florian Wirtz? surely Newcastle go, hang on a minute, you're talking about Alexander Isak here, right? Proven Premier League striker. You can see it. It's there. Yeah. You know what he's going to do, right? You can't go and pay us the same sort of amount of money that you paid for Florian Wirtz, where it's all wrapped up in potential.
It's that age thing again, isn't it?
Isak's there,
21, 22. That's what the thing is.
Honestly.
People are prepared to pay it because they've got 10 years out of him, whereas Isaac, they've got.
Do you know how they could solve all of this rumour mill and put it all to rest, right? Is if Alexander Isak at some point has gone into Eddie Howe, yeah? He has. He's gone into Eddie Howe and he's gone, right, I want to go, boss. And Eddie Howe says, mate, come on, I love you here, yeah? I want you to stay here, right? I want to go. I'm going. All right, cool. This is how we're going to do it then, OK? If you want to go, you need to put a press statement out saying, I, Alexander Isak, want to leave the football club because I want to move to a top, we're talking like Premier League winning team. I want to leave, yeah? I want to go. If you do that, cool. We'll put our press conference out saying Alexander wants to go. We want 150 million quid for him, and once that has been met, we'll let him go and we'll give him all our best as well.
But he's obviously been honest with the manager, which is evident.
Yeah.
The one thing that's really let him down is that he hasn't reported to pre-season.
Yeah.
That's let him
down. But then again,
massive.
the club needs to say, listen, if you're going to do this, we're going to call you out for it. Okay? We're going to say. He's refused to come to training. He's refused to go on pre-season tour. Yeah, I know, but he's not just going to not play, is it? It happens every year, where all these players kick off and they'll go, I just won't play for them. Very rarely, right, do they actually just not play for you. Very rarely do they get left.
Because they can't afford like
exactly.
£150 million. Do you not think...
But then he can't afford to not play.
No, exactly.
He's got 3 years left in his contract. They're never going to not play him for 3 years.
The thing that annoys me more than anything in all of this, and maybe it's the fact that it's just the modern age that we're in, is that these contracts mean nothing now. So he's tossed it in and gone, I'm not going on the tour. If he's got 3 years on his deal, right, what annoys me more than anything is don't sign the contract then. Right? Yeah. Because the reason he signed a new contract is because he wanted more money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It happened to Granit Xhaka last week. Yeah. Signed 5 years at Leverkusen, right? 5 years. I want security, long-term deal. Yeah. Check. I want money. Check. Okay? Oh, but someone's showing an interest now. I want to go. Life shouldn't work that way. Yeah, you've committed.
It works
5 years.
It does work both ways.
If the club don't want the player, they'll soon get rid of the player and make him very, very, very miserable.
Yeah, they will, yeah.
But I just think, again, touching on the Isak thing, it's the way that he's refusing to report to the club. That's out of order.
But that's how he gets his move, isn't it?
It is how he gets his move, but there's a way of doing it. There's a way of going about it. You don't do that.
But it depends, though, right? So I completely agree with you, right? But I understand why Isak's done it as well at the same time. Because if he's gone into...
Just be honest.
If he's gone into the manager and said, right, I want to go, and they've gone, you're not going. And he's gone, but I really want to go. Don't care, you're not going. What's he left with? What options he got left? That is to do exactly what he's done, right? And so this is where it comes from nowadays. You had Johan Visser coming in for Bournemouth, didn't you? Sorry, for Brentford last week, saying, I'll come in and train, but I'm not training with the first team because I want my move, right? And it's becoming more and more common now, isn't it? It's more and more common. Players are not going on pre-season tour. Players aren't coming in for training anymore because they know eventually it's the only way to do it. You'll have the agents in their ear saying, what you need to do is this.
But like you said, though, Toes, it does work both ways because, as you know, Newcastle, I'm not saying they are, but they could start crying about it, going, oh, you know, he's done this, he's done that. But at the same point, if they didn't want him, they'd go, you're training with the 21.
Newcastle fans are fuming, by the way.
Mate, also, have you seen that? They have
every right to be.
If ever there's a football team not to do this to is Newcastle, by the way. They are, like, everything is for that football club. They live. Like, the whole of Newcastle lives for that football club on a Saturday afternoon. Yeah. That is what they wake up for. They go to work for, is to pay for the football on the Saturday.
But also, they're not having a great window, are they? I mean,
no, they're not. No.
Elanga,
and you think, right, what a front three that is. Elanga, Gordon, Isak, with Joel Linton behind them. And you're thinking, hang on a sec, we've really improved because Murphy's obviously done great. Sorry. But the Elanga pushing him and having him as number 1 and number 2, that's a good competition. And then now they're going to lose Isak. They're going to play Gordon up top. They're going to sign Sesko. But they lose Trafford to Man City. Like, they've not signed a centre-half like they probably need to.
This is all it... Like, so with regards to the Sesko deal, Newcastle obviously would have made this bid for Sesko, knowing that Isak's going to go. He's going to go, right? So when they're making the bid for him, they'll have obviously had some contact with the player as well, and it would have been along the lines of, right, Benjamin, like, Isak's going, OK? So you're guaranteed that starting spot, all right? That's yours, okay?
Yeah,
so once he's gone, once we agree that you're going to sign for us, we can sanction the sale for Isaac, and then boom, like-for-like replacement, boom, thank you very much.
And also they lost Ekitike, didn't they, to Liverpool? And now Liverpool not only stole the player that they were trying to sign, they're trying to steal their number one
Liverpool, by the way,
striker.
this could be one of the best transfer windows in the history of football. Genuinely could be. Like,
fair play to them.
It's ridiculous. Like, if they do manage to get Isaac over the line as well, you've got to hold your hands up and go, you know what? Fair dues, Liverpool. Fair dues. There's a lot of people asking about FFP and how are they able to afford all this kind of stuff. They've just won the Premier League. They've just been getting bonuses left, right, and centre. They signed a new kit deal. All of this stuff. Liverpool aren't stupid enough to go and break rules of FFP.
No.
They're not. They know exactly what they've got. They know exactly what they're doing. And if they can get it over the line, oh my gosh!
Well, you look at Frimpong, Wirtz, Kirkez. I mean, Kirkez is a hell of a side. I mean, your two left backs, Kirkez and Robinson.
Unbelievable, mate. Ekitike. Do you know something interesting about Ekitike? Wears the number 22 shirt, right? If you get his shirt and twist it that way, it still reads cool. Ekitike 22.
And what's that?
Great.
What's that called again?
Yeah. Not a conundrum,
a palindrome.
Palindrome.
Got it. I thought of it, didn't I? I didn't. Jamie's just got it on the thing.
Jay's put on air, typed in whilst we're talking about they've lost Newcastle, they've lost Wilson too. Now, how do you view that? Because obviously, when it was announced, I went on to West Ham yesterday and looked. I was surprised at the comments. Like, we were not happy.
West Ham
fans were, and I was like, someone put, "Oh, he's a donkey." I was like, this is an England international. Is that frustration more the fact that
I can't believe that? That's really surprising. I think
a few injuries?
It will be 100% that. It will be the injury records and worrying about him not being there for most of the season.
West Ham haven't had a very good window.
No, they haven't. No, but they're crying out for players. Like obviously, last season was a letdown for them, really, for the fans.
Lost Kudus.
If they can, lost Kudus.
Obviously,
if he can stay fit, Callum Wilson, and kind of rediscover this form from a couple of years back when he was in the England squad, mate, they've got themselves an absolute bargain, a steal, mate, because he's a player, seriously. He's got pace, and as soon as you've got pace, it's the one thing you know yourself.
He's got pace and power, like Antonio, which is what they missed the second half of last season.
It's the worst thing, isn't it? You don't want pace and power running at you, you really don't. So I wish him all the best, I really do. I want to see him back playing, I want to see him back scoring as well.
Stay fit,
Yeah.
What about Arsenal then, lads? So, number 9, need a number 9. They've gone, break the bank, signed Gyökeres.
Yeah.
How many goals is he going to score next season?
I think he'll do wonders for Arsenal.
Do you?
Yeah, I think it's exactly what they need. I like him a lot.
18.
20. He's getting 20 next season.
22.
He's getting 20 next season. It's been an unreal transfer window for Arsenal, by the way. Like, nothing like blowing anything out the water. Yeah, not a Liverpool transfer window, but unreal still. Absolutely unreal.
They've just solidified the squad, haven't they?
Massively
and if
solidified.
they get Eze, which is reported.
So what they've needed to do, Arsenal, right? They've always had the best, not the best, but 11, 12, 13 players. They've had an unreal 11, 12, 13 squad, haven't they, yeah? Once they start getting past that, they get 2 or 3 injuries, then it starts looking a little bit bare bones. You're talking about young lads, 17, and they've got some fantastic 17, 18, 15.
What about Max Doman? Wow.
They've got some unreal players, by the way.
I saw his highlight reel the other day.
Phenomenal, just bothered.
Absolutely fearless.
Phenomenal.
What a player.
But once they start going down to that, we're talking about Premier League here, yeah? You're talking about big, strong, grown men. You need a bit of experience behind you as well. What they've done is they've filled that bench now as well. So at any point in any game, they can look to the bench and they can bring an almost like-for-like player on that can perform at that Premier League level.
Zubimendi.
Massive. Norgard, Mascara, Madueke. Even Kepa on the bench. You know, you're talking about real proven Premier League experience. Now Gyökeres. I think Gyökeres is probably the biggest signing for them. The biggest signing. They've been crying out for years. Everybody knows this as well. They've been crying out for that big guy, that main guy, that focal point. And it's probably going to change the way Arsenal play a little bit. I wouldn't say massively.
He's got pace and power as well to go in.
But it will change the way they play a little bit. But I think that will benefit them as well. It's good though. I like it. I really do. It's going to be a good Premier League season.
Havertz has come back
looking $1 million. Looks like he's been in the gym. Yeah. But it's all about, like, you know, what happened last season with Arsenal. They had a lot of silly red cards early doors. They had a lot of injuries last season. They can stay away from those silly little things, and it's going to be a proper Premier League season this year.
It could be, couldn't it?
It could be an absolute belter.
What do you make of Chelsea's I look at Chelsea. Me and Luke were looking this morning at their ins and outs, and they've got Gittins, Hato, Dilat, Pedro, plus a few more.
Yeah. They've just signed a young lad again today, haven't they? Or yesterday?
Is that not Hato?
Ajax defender for 30-odd mil or something like that. 19 years old.
How do they keep doing it?
19 years old, already played 100 league games already at 19 years old. Like, what on earth? Like, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
But I just look at Chelsea, like, you kind of start looking at their squad and the ins and outs and Dilat, Pedro, and they've made some really, really good signings, but it kind of feels like they're in a similar position to last year where they've got a lot of players. Is he going to know, like, if you were to put a gun to his head and go, any idea of the starting 11? would he really...
He's got a couple. He said he did a press conference last year, didn't he? Saying we've got a squad now where I have got 2 or 3 players for every position, and if you look across it, he has.
It was probably easier last year when they were playing the Conference League, though, because they could have a second squad and they could let them travel, and they knew that. But now, they're in the Champions League. You're looking at it thinking, right, every player wants to play every single game, Premier League, Champions League, so you're going to get a bit more.
You can't rotate. I'd say. You can't rotate, though. That's the problem. I think the Conference League was a blessing for them last year, not only because they went and won it, but it gave a chance to play a completely different 11 on that Thursday night. Thursday night, where you can put everybody in. It keeps the whole squad like incentivised. Everybody knows they've got a game maybe next week or next Saturday or next Thursday. Keeps everybody on board, doesn't it?
But they've also got the momentum of they just won the Club World Cup, haven't they? They won the Conference League. They got into the Champions League at the end of the season. Like, they are building and the momentum's going, but it's just, will they be able to keep it up?
Think about a couple of years ago when Ted Bowley came in and they were splashing all this cash and they've spent £1 billion already.
Todd Bowley, not Ted Bowley.
Ted Bowley.
Ted Lasso, you think you know?
Ted Lasso, yeah. He was Ted Lasso at the time, bloody hell. It was proper, like, everybody was ridiculing Chelsea, weren't they, right? They were. It was like, you ain't got a clue what you're doing. You think you can just come over to English sport and just do what you want like you do in America. It don't work like that over here. In fairness to him, right, it seems like he's onto something. I mean that as well, because they're obviously winning the conference last year, winning the Club World Cup, the 120-odd million quid that comes with it as well. The squad that they've built now, everybody at the time was saying, you need experience. But they've got this young squad of what seem like absolute ballers.
Yes.
And it's going to be really interesting to see how they do this season, you know, because I'm not sure still. And a lot of people are saying, but they'll be top 4 easy this year. They'll be top... And I'm not sure.
I think they will be top 4.
I think
they've got to be better, haven't they?
Possibly.
The manager's second season as well. But not only that, they've signed this kid, Dasugo, from Sporting as well, who's meant to be absolutely incredible, because Almiron was trying to sign him because he had him at Sporting before. But Chelsea have just gone, nope, you know what? Another young prospect, another wonder kid. We'll have him as well. We'll
17, 18, 19-year-olds. Like, you wouldn't... They've literally gone and amassed the world's best 17 and 18 and 19.
Yeah. But then...
That Esteban player, do you see him? Like, playing in the Club World Cup, that one from Fluminense, I think he was. Oh, my God, honestly, they've got...
They went and signed someone from the Club World Cup as well, didn't they?
That was him. That was that guy. That was that Esteban guy. He just got man of the match every game.
Yeah.
Literally man of the match every game. He was unreal. What a player. Like, a massive...
They're playing Football Manager, like, it's just...
Set their age filter to 19 max and then just sign all the best ones.
The best scouts in the world.
So, yeah, I think it'll be interesting for Chelsea this year. I don't think they're going to be there or thereabouts winning it, but... I don't know. It's just... I don't know. I think last season sort of, like... It scared me a bit of Chelsea because it started so well and then just completely fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
So then they regained it, didn't they? They did regain it.
Yeah, they did regain it.
So the momentum of the Conference League and the Club World Cup.
Yeah.
Listen, we could have done a 4-hour show today. We could have done 4 shows this week. So apologies if we've not covered everyone off. One team I want to talk about who I find curious this season is Brentford. So they've lost the manager, goalkeeper, captain, top goal scorer. Possibly the second top goal scorer if Visser goes as well. Right, so that's huge losses. Jordan Henderson's come in. I think that's a decent signing.
Yeah.
And then the new manager isn't Thomas Frank's assistant. Keith Andrews was the set-piece coach.
Yeah.
Is this quite unusual for us?
Very unusual. I was actually at West Brom with Keith Andrews.
Yeah.
So he came and joined for a year and... a great lad, lovely lad, really good lad, very professional, very hard-working, very professional. And do you know, I totally agree with what you're saying, right? But I think a lot of managers have to have a bit of an aura about themselves or a bit of like a leader of men, if that makes sense. They have to command respect, and that Keith Andrews does that. He genuinely does that, right? When he speaks, he opens his mouth, people watch and listen, and they respect him and they respect his opinion. And obviously, it's a massive step, a huge step, one of the best you could have.
It'll either be a stroke of genius or what the hell are they doing? Because, like you say, they've lost all them players. Not the captain as well, like he's gone.
Yeah.
They've signed players that are not really known,
not Premier League proven.
But then is that also part of the Brentford model that they've done that in the past and just signed players and?
Well, the thing is, the difference is, you say about the model, like with Brighton when Hurtzler came in, there was a couple of eyebrows raised, but I think people kind of go, listen, Brighton know what they're doing.
There weren't wholesale changes.
No, but they know what they're doing, and Brentford are always thrown in with Brighton, right?
Yeah.
The difference is they've not had the carousel of manager change. You know, Thomas Frank's been in for 7 years, so when you change that manager, that head of the club,
and the manager's not managed before.
So that's where I'm curious, because if this was Brighton, I'd go, no, fine, continuation. But because they haven't had that managerial change, this is where I look at it now and go, could they struggle?
Right. So we did.
I worry that they will.
We did the Premier League relegation odds, didn't we, a few weeks ago on the show, and. It'll be interesting to see if any of that has changed, because Brentford surely have to be right up there with the newly promoted teams, right?
I said it last season. I got fucking slaughtered for it, saying that I think they might struggle. But this year, I think they might struggle.
Brentford are still better odds than Wolves.
What?
Wolves are below. Wolves are 7-2, fourth favourite to get relegated, and then it's Brentford.
Because we've sold all our best players.
Yeah, probably that as well. The three to go down are obviously all the promoted teams. Leeds the best chance of all of them at 5-4, and then it goes Wolves, then it goes Brentford, then it goes West Ham, Everton as well. Everton will be sneaky ones in there as well, because they haven't really signed anybody.
Mate, look at. So we've got a few on the list here of teams that could potentially struggle. Right,
Yeah,
I've got the three teams coming up. Leeds, Burnley, Sunderland, Wolves, Everton, Brentford, West Ham, question mark.
You've got Forest down there. You've got a sneaky Notts Forest down there as well.
I just have a little gut feeling.
Why is it you think that they overachieved last season?
I do, yeah.
And now losing Elanga as well, it kind of affects the way that they would play.
Listen, having done what we do for a long time, and we get elite level coaches in all the time, players, and people always say about this momentum thing that it cannot be underestimated, the power of momentum. And I don't know. I just think they did overachieve.
European football as well, Thursday night.
After Nuno got European football at Wolves, what was the season after like? Was it a struggle? I can't remember.
Oh, I can't remember. It was 7th, and then
Wolves fan. Come on, you must know.
I can't remember.
But that's got to be the worry now. Like, it's the intensity. They missed out on the last day of the season. You had all the owner stuff, like 2 games before.
You need 2 squads for Europe.
A little bit of negativity starting to creep in, but like you say, Gibbs White, that might have turned the tide a little bit.
Yeah. Did you see the interview with the owner? Gibbs White looks like someone had a gun in the middle of his back. What about the promoted teams, Fozzie? So Sunderland, Leeds, Burnley come up, and what we were looking at earlier, me and Toes were looking at earlier, is that these teams that are coming up, you kind of think they need Premier League experience.
Yeah.
They need, so Kyle Walker, Burnley, Sean Longstaff, Leeds. Granit Xhaka, Sunderland, but they seem to be anomalies. Like, there's not a lot of Premier League experience going into these teams. Is that because it's simply so expensive to buy these players?
Simple as that, really. You need to get lucky with the few gems that you do buy from Europe, from the French League and the Spanish League. You need to get lucky with them and hope they're good to go, they can hit the ground running and they can improve the squad. But you're talking about playing against teams that have got Premier League experience because they're Premier League teams. It's as simple as that, and it's so hard to compete. The money involved now, it's so hard to compete. Like, you can buy a proven Premier League player that probably played 200 games in his career, but it's going to cost you, depends on the age, it's 20 mil. It's 20 mil before you even get going.
More than Xhaka's a really good signing. But I really like
Fantastic signing.
Like, he's going to be someone who's going to orchestrate, he's going to lead. He's won a league with Leverkusen, he's gone away and now he's come back, and it's almost like people are going to start looking up to him even more so. I just think it's a really, really good signing. Probably a little bit ahead of the Longstaff signing.
I think Longstaff's a really good
because, I just say it's just a little bit of a better signing. Just because of the experience. And I mean, Longstaff is a really good player. But I mean, I just see the Xhaka one as a brilliant one. And like you said there about signing unproven European players. Remember when Leeds signed Rafinha?
Yeah.
And then what he's gone on to do. Like there are gems out there that
But they have to, that's where they have to shop. We were looking through the ins and outs earlier, and there's so many that have come, France, Belgium, Netherlands and Italy, and they have to shop there because that's where the value is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the only way they can do it. Who was it that did it a few years back? It was probably 4 or 5 years ago. Was it Sunderland? Was it Newcastle? When they got promoted and they spent bloody...
Forest went and signed 15, 20
and 24 players
just about, only just about straight through, didn't they? Completely changed their squad.
To be fair, so many of them have turned out decent, haven't they?
But also they had to do it, didn't they? Because it was either sink or swim. Yeah, they either had to go for it or they were never going to stay up with the team that they... I say never. The likelihood was much less, wasn't it?
Before we carry on, there's not much more to talk about, is it? Have we got a quiz, by the way, Jay?
Yeah.
Of course we've got a quiz.
Just quickly on Forest, I reckon Morgan Gibbs-White is going to have the season of his life this season. I think he's going to push for the England team. I think the one part of his game I'd like to have seen a few more goals, maybe last season. I reckon he's going to have an incredible season.
Phenomenal. Even better than last season.
Yep.
All right, we're going to go quiz in a minute. You have to do your top 3 for the Premier League. Go on.
Not now?
Yeah. No, next week. Do it next week.
We're doing a predictions for the next week.
OK, but then just give me a vague one, what you think.
You go first.
I'm going to go Arsenal.
Yeah.
Then Liverpool.
OK.
Then Man City.
Liverpool, City, Arsenal.
We've not talked about City today.
It's because they're boring. They got their deal done early doors. They're all.
Actually, mention it. Pep's the first manager to have ever spent £2 billion.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Whether that's pound or euros, but yeah,
well
2
done,
billion.
Pep. Proud of you, mate. Massive achievement.
Time for a quiz?
Come on, Jamie, let's go for a quiz.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the pre-season football filling quiz. When the season starts, we've got some big changes happening. We're going to have yellow and red cards, we're going to have chips, we're going to have a new tiebreaker question, so something to look forward to.
We need a bit of order.
Listen to this, quickly. When we went to Australia and New Zealand, right, we were walking through the airports, we were walking through, and in fairness, a lot of people watch the podcast, a lot of people watch the football.
There's a lot of love, wasn't there?
A lot of love, yeah, it was ridiculous.
So many people said how bad the quizmaster was.
A lot of people would notice Jamie and say, it's Jamie, it's Quizmaster Jamie. And they would then look at me straight away and say, you need to lay off Jamie a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, you need to lay off Jamie. His quizzes are good. It's you that's got the problem. I was like, is it? Is it honestly me that's got the problem?
Yeah, see, the fans have got my back, you know what I mean? So
they see
a lot of love for Jamie.
you guys are haters.
So this is going to be, I'm going to turn over a new leaf, right?
Yeah.
No more dogs abuse.
Yeah.
Bottom, I can't promise or guarantee anything.
Yeah, if he shouts, he might have to get in a red card.
You're going to practice.
Yeah, I'm going to practice today, all right?
If you're dialing down the abuse, I might have to dial up the abuse.
Yeah, you're going to get red cards then.
Hey, I've never given you abuse, have I?
No, you haven't told us. I don't think you'll be getting many yellow cards next season.
Come on. Right, go on then, Jay, let's go.
Before we start, FPL code on the screen. Do you want to let them know?
FPL code is on screen now. If you sign into your FPL account and start your team up, it will automatically put you in the league anyway, so don't need to do anything. But if you're not in the league, the code's on screen now. Put that in and join our Cycling GK League.
There we go.
Let's
right.
go.
Question 1. Which club has Ashley Young just signed for?
Ipswich.
Damn it! Town is the correct answer, Tom.
It was so slow then.
Is that because you had a couple of beers yesterday, Toes? Oasis, were
You
we?
can pull away. Question 2. Where did Jordan Henderson start his career at?
Sunderland.
Sunderland. Toes.
Where's that?
Toes.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
toes. It was toes. Claire.
Just ahead of you.
Career path. Question 3. I have played for Chelsea, Hull City loan, Torino loan, Torino, Fulham loan, Nottingham Forest. I have played for Chelsea, Hull City loan, Torino loan, Torino, Fulham loan, Nottingham Forest. Five.
Callum Hudson-Odoi?
No. 4. 3.
Rebollo?
No. 2.
Welcome to the Sunday night Oso Spurs weekly roundup. The one place, possibly, maybe not, probably, the only place on the internet where you're going to get a Spurs roundup that's not full of made up stuff and has an ounce of less emotion to it, and we try focus on the facts. Kind of really badly messed up. You know what I'm trying to say? Hysteria-free Spurs roundup every Sunday, 9:30 in the UK. But it's morning for you, Joe. 6:30 in the morning. How are you doing?
It is morning for me. I'm doing well. I had a nice weekend away with the wife at a spa, so I'm a lot more relaxed than I think most Spurs fans are at the moment. And then, yeah, good morning to people in Asia, midday in the US, and good evening to you guys.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I should start with good morning, afternoon, and evening when I start these. And JJ, how are you? You're in the same time zone as me, so good evening.
Hey guys, yeah, I'm okay. No.
Oh, we've got a little bit of patchy bit of signal there, but
I think I've got a bit of time delay, but yes, I'm doing.
Good. Well, good to have you back on, mate. Good to have you back on. But yeah, today, just want to quickly say hello first to those dialing in. So, hello, Moss Chops. I know your real name.
And there was just a few. It was kind of like the last year when we would concede goals, where it was just kind of like random, anything that could happen that was just sort of uncontrollable or not part of the system was an offside goal, but that wasn't a goal, obviously, that Kane scored. The penalty was probably a penalty, but dubious. And then it was 2 like wonder goals. Yeah. Even though he missed the penalty, obviously, but 3 wonder goals really. And sort of when we concede wonder goals, I'm always like, well, what can you do about that? Do you remember the game in Turkey when that was like that shot from across the box? And I was like, well, what can you do about that? Like, what can you stop those goals? But we weren't good. We didn't create anything. I think maybe because we're so tired, we were dropping so deep. Like there was so much space on the top of the box all the time, and they could just cut it back. And what's the Italian guy's name for them? He missed a fair few chances. I can't remember his name anyway. But yeah, I think it was probably coming towards the end, and I think they needed a rest from all the travel. But I'm being generous there. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I'll pass it to JJ in a second, but
yeah, go.
I didn't really read too much into it. In many ways, I've looked at all these friendlies as exactly what Frank described them as, and they were just getting minutes and legs and fitness up. Someone left a good expression. It was, at friendlies, you don't get a view of how well you're going to play, but you get a view of how you're going to try and play. I think that was what someone said, something on those lines, and asked JJ if he agrees that or not in a minute as an actual coach. But that's how I kind of saw it. And I saw like a Bayern side that's, is it third year now in their project with Kompany, who are kind of at the stage of how do we fine tune this machine and go for the Champions League, versus a team who's very much of, we've had a lot of movement in the squad again. We're trying to build some foundations to solidify ourselves back into the top 6 of the Premier League. And, we're at the first phase of that journey. So it just looked like 2 sides at a different space. What did you make of the game, JJ? What did you pick up for the Bayern game?
Yeah, it was a very difficult game. I think the generous view from you, Joe, is right. There was a lot of travel went in. The Spurs team bounced from Asia back to the UK for about a day and then headed back out, which is logistically is quite a lot. The team did look a bit sluggish. They did look a bit tired, but that Bayern team's far superior in every aspect of the play. They absolutely had our number. They knew how we were going to try and move the ball forward. We've shown we're already quite limited in terms of how we're going to progress the ball. We haven't quite, layered on the attacking element that Thomas Frank's going to look to. But the elements that he has already shown his hand for in pre-season, they were absolutely ready for them. The way they threw their press, they angled their press to push us into certain positions, and they're things that we've seen last season, putting Jed Spence on the left-hand side into positions where he had 2 and 3 players in front of him with no out ball, no outlet. All of these kind of things, they've done their homework. They look fresher than us, and they've got a quality of player that is a level above what we've got across the team pretty much, man for man, I guess. There's a few players in our team might stand a chance of getting in there. So when you add all that together, they were far superior. It was pretty disappointing that we didn't have any answers going forward. We didn't have anything really to offer. And I'd be interested to hear what people thought. I watched the game in the stadium, right? So I was there, so it was slightly different to being able to watch it with a bit more, emphasis on the screen. But for me, it felt like Richarlison was probably our best or maybe most effective player. And then Kudus tried hard. So I'd be interested to, like, people that watched it on TV, what it looked like. But yeah, we didn't offer a great deal. So yeah, it was a bit disappointing.
And there's a question specifically for you, JJ, and I do want to get to the tackle in a minute, because Richarlison's an interesting one, guys, because he's always seen as this player we talk about in the window of, we need to get rid of him. He can't stay fit. But every manager who has him, he ends up taking on a pretty key role after a while, like he did under Ange at the end. He seemed to have solidified a place ahead of Son. And he often felt like our biggest goal threat when he was fit. And in the preseason games, he seems to have some value there as well. But Ross says, probably a question for JJ, but is Jed's best position left back or right back?
I mean, it's a good question. I think it's one that's hard to answer because he's not really played that many minutes at right back. So when you've got someone like Pedro Porro, who is so good going forward, he's so good on the ball that he makes up for his, potentially his defensive frailties. You just don't get Jed Spence into the side. And we've already seen under Thomas Frank, he's going to use Pedro Porro for half space crosses and for switching play and, for decent balls into the midfield. So you're not going to get, Jed Spence is not better at those elements than Pedro Porro is. And therefore Porro is not coming out of the side unless he's been given a rest. And last season he was an absolute warrior. He played basically every minute. And so Jed Spence, is he better one side or the other? I don't know. Because I haven't seen enough of him at Spurs for that. But he is an excellent right footer, and he's got a lot of quality carrying the ball forward as well. So I'm very happy if he is the understudy on the left-hand side, but that doesn't mean we don't need full-back cover as well.
We definitely do. I want to bring up a screenshot of our squad at the moment, because John Ellis has just put it in the WhatsApp group, a really good one. I was posting earlier our squad depth, thinking, you know what, it's all right. You've got Solanke, Richarlison up front, you've got Talanoa on the left, you've got Kudus, Johnson, Kulusevski on the right. We need to obviously get someone to back up Maddison. And you've got 6 decent midfielders. Anyway, he's put a lot of red lines through these, reminding me of who isn't actually available, though. We've already got a bit of a mini injury crisis. But just a shout out to Kem. How are you, Kem? Looking forward to seeing you at the ground, hopefully, for Burnley, if you'll be around. Good to see you. Effing hell, good to see you. And Billy, good to see you as well, mate. Lovely to spend the evening with you all. But yeah, guys, what about the attack? JJ mentioned it there. Richarlison seems like our biggest threat at the moment up front. Do we look at that as a negative, or somewhere in between, where it's like, well, maybe there's value in this guy? He wasn't rubbish at Everton, and he's certainly shown he hasn't always been rubbish at Spurs. Or are you just going to give me the easy answer? If he stays fit, he's all right.
I mean, that is true, but I won't give you the easy answer. I think he's probably much maligned due to the fact that he gets injured so regularly. But the chance that he had against Bayern, I was surprised that he missed, to be honest. That is normally something that he would gobble up. And maybe it's just pre-season rust coming back off the injury that I wasn't aware of after the Europa League. So, yeah, I do think it's hard with strikers because they can't play in isolation. And when we really didn't move the ball well from back to front. We couldn't really create much. It's hard to sort of judge him on that. His strike, I mean, like, look at Haaland, for example. He touches the ball 8 times a game. So he's just there to finish. And I mean, Richie didn't finish that chance he had, but I can't think anyone really say that Richie's finishing is poor. I don't think it is. I didn't think that Tal was far off him though in that game. I thought Tal was still okay in the strike position. I do want to see him play more on the left, and we're thin at the forward line because Solanke isn't known for getting injured, but he has been injured fairly regularly for us. He's had 2 sort of decent layoffs or time out in the not even year and a half he's been with us yet. So I still think we need someone. I don't think we should get rid of Richie. I think we should keep him, but I think we still need another striker. And obviously Lancashire's gone. on loan now. Where did he go? Notts County, maybe? Was that where he went?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sorry, you go on now.
There was a good loan update today, by the way, showing that pretty much everyone except for Mikey Moore, who was unavailable, got minutes out of the 10 players we got out on loan. JJ, do you know, top of your head, how many players a squad can send out on loan, or Joe? I thought we were limited to 8, but we've got 10 by the looks of it, which is a big number.
I didn't know there was a rule for how many people we could loan. I mean, Chelsea probably have about 50 players on loan, don't they?
Yeah, that's true. I thought there was a limit, but I'll have to look that up for the next one. JJ, I'm not sure if your signal's there or not, you can hear us, but if you can, I was going to pass over to you to about Tell, because Joe touched on it there, to see whether you see him more as a player that's, you know, not shown his best yet, because he's always been chucked up front so often and not really had much time on the left wing, which would appear to be his main position, right? I think JJ's bandwidth is a bit broken. He might need to restart. But Joe, well, go on, you're back.
Yeah. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you. Just a bit of a lag there.
Okay. So the question, I think, is about Mathys Tel and his best position. And yeah, he's definitely shown that for Tottenham and playing in the Premier League, it's going to be on the left-hand side. That's his, you know, best space, because he can have a better go at. He's not bad. He's got nice technique. He's got good touch. He's quite quick. He's very confident, and you need that as a wide player. But he doesn't have a huge physique. He's not a really strong player. His hold-up play, we saw that in the previous game. Now, don't get me wrong, the long kicks out from the goalkeeper, from Vicario, are not the best in terms of giving a striker a chance, but he has not got that physical element. He is not going to hold the ball up. He's not going to win the ball as a number 9. And at the minute, we're seeing that ball go long quite often from centre-halves and from goalkeeper. Mathys Tel is not going to be the guy that's going to be able to secure that ball and bring people into play off him. And so, yeah, playing him off the left-hand side is going to be his best position at this moment in time. He has shown he's got a good touch and he can whip a ball in as well. So he's obviously cutting back onto his right foot and he can whip a ball in. Decent set-piece delivery as well. So there's definitely a player there. But if he is going to be, you know, if he's going to be the player that you're going with on the left-hand side as your first choice, we're going to need a lot more in the middle in terms of being able to secure possession. And I don't mean by the number 9, I mean by the 10s and the 8s. They need to be in there being able to get hold of the ball so that we can possess it higher up the pitch. Because if we're continuously playing back to front really, really quickly, transition style or not, and the ball comes back or the ball goes dead, that is going to be really unsustainable. It's going to look a lot like the stuff from Postecoglou that people didn't like. So we are going to need players who can get hold of the ball, they can get on the ball, and they can play and secure it higher up the field. And then that will allow players like Audebert and Tel to be 1v1 versus players and try and get around the outside, try and create and try and use their skills to the best of their ability.
Well, talking of other players that were important that we saw a bit of, Joe, Paulinia's debut, did you think he looked like he was giving I think JJ described it before, another episode he did, I know he did. He said, Paulinia, it's about the platform he gives other players as much as about what he does for himself on the pitch. Did you notice his influence on the game?
He didn't play well, I don't think. However, he'd barely played. I think he played like a couple of sub appearances at the Club World Cup for Munich. He's barely played. I think he'd be extremely rusty, and I think to judge him on that would be very harsh on that game. He also hasn't played with those guys before, so positioning wise, been in a couple of days to get tactics wise, and also going back to Munich, he probably really wanted to impress. So it was probably because he just came from left there as well, or he's on loan from there. So it was a hard one to put him in. So I don't think he was good, but I also don't want to judge him on that performance because of all the other factors. But I am hoping that he will give us that platform to set a few guys freer, and then we can actually have more bodies connecting into our forward line. Because we're setting up. I think it seems like we're setting up to be defensively strong, and that was the first thing we're implementing. But we're obviously very close to competitive games now, so fingers crossed that it's the attacking stuff starts to get implemented as well.
Well, maybe we should start starting towards the kind of general vibe and reaction to that defeat, because we'd beaten Arsenal not long ago, and people were starting to go, "Oof, maybe Spurs aren't as bad as I thought. Maybe they're ready for a top 6 fight already. Maybe this season's going to be a bit of fun." And then it's a loss to Bayern Munich, and we're doomed. Relegation looms. What are we going to do? The only thing that could save us possibly now would be £100 million signing, but not one of them. We need 3 or 4 of them. Otherwise, it's all over. But, there's always like that in football. We are emotionally attached to our team to a level that people around us who don't follow football find obsessive and strange, often from the outside. And therefore, it's normal to get perhaps a bit giddy when things are going well, and a bit obsessive when things go wrong in a negative way. But where are you at in terms of like how the pre-season's gone? JJ, I don't know if you've got the latency back, but what's your kind of overview of how you think the pre-season's gone so far? Have you seen like Frank focusing on specific things that have been evolving, or do you think we're going to have to wait till the season kicks off before we actually get a feel of whether we are in a good position or not?
Yeah, hopefully you guys can hear me a bit better now. But
yeah, we can.
If you don't know about both of those things, Jim, are true at this moment in time. So there are things that we were going in, we thought we'd see, and we're definitely seeing them. There are things that have written himself clearly in terms of what he's going to be trying to achieve in his time. And then we should definitely be hoping that there's plenty more to come. So we're going to have to wait for us to go through pre-season, get all the players we're going to get in by the end of the transfer window, get a few, 5, 6, 7, maybe even 10 games in with a new manager and a new coaching staff, and hopefully keep seeing stuff. Now, from that point onwards, it's about tweaking and it's about management. It's about what do you do with injuries and busy schedule and, whatever's thrown at you by the season. So we definitely need to see more. When you're looking at pre-season, and some people say don't judge anything, it's about minutes. Some people say, losing their minds over everything. It's somewhere in between, because there are, consistent patterns. And when you see consistent patterns, those are the things that if they're good, you're thinking to yourself, that's great. That's really what we wanted to see, and we're delighted with that. And then if you're seeing consistent patterns that are on the negative side of things, you're thinking to yourself, okay, that is something that needs taken care of, because I'm seeing it time and again. And I think, as most people are able to identify, we've not yet solidified how we're going to possess the football, how we're going to progress it, and how we're going to attack teams. All right. The goals that we've scored, and we've not scored many, but the goals that we've scored have been opportunistic or good play or a bit of, lung busting stuff from Pape Sarr. That's not how we are going to consistently score goals going into this season. They're not going to be going in from 50 yards away, and Pape Sarr is probably not going to be our top scorer. And if he is, we might well be talking about a very difficult season. So there's plenty more to come, fingers crossed.
That depends how many goals Pape Sarr scores as our top scorer, JJ. Come on. Could be those goals. Yeah, everyone keeps talking about these, us needing to replace Sonny's 24 goal contributions. Maybe we've already got it in the team in our new number 10. That's maybe why maybe we pulled out of Morgan Gibbs White, because Pape Sarr's been pulling off worldies in training. Of course, I'm talking nonsense, but Kem's just asked about the loan limit. So someone else in the comments actually answered it earlier. And you're limited to how many players you can loan out to other FA-registered clubs, by the sounds of it. So, which I think it's 8, but I'll have to look it up and confirm it on tomorrow's pod, unless JJ knows top of his head. But yeah, I don't. So there you go. Joe, what about you? What's your synopsis of the pre-season so far?
I can't put it much differently to what JJ's put it. It's implementation of a new strategy, new coaching staff, getting to know players. I think there is a lot of. We were solid defensively for most of the games we played, with a few mistakes here and there, but that's to be expected. And attacking wise, we scored off opportune moments, like against Arsenal, for example. But I think you have to judge a little bit of pre-season because the coaching staff are judging. They're judging the players as individuals and how they're sort of picking up the system. But I think as far as what it's going to mean for our season, you can't really take anything because there's plenty of times where we've had unbeaten pre-seasons and average seasons and vice versa. I can't link those up in my mind, which ones are which. I'm kind of just making that up, maybe. Actually, maybe they've always linked perfectly. But yeah, it's one of those ones. I am concerned about attacking wise. I think we have good players in the attacking system. Like you've mentioned, our squad's good. I think our squad is generally trending upwards over time, and I think this may transition into another topic, but I think we've brought in 2 Premier League proven players. I know Palhinha had a poor season at Bayern, but that was probably due to play style and his skill set, and it's not lining up, and then wanting to be more progressive, where he's sort of just a platform to build off and break up the play. Kudos, proven Premier League player. In the past, and we've obviously, we brought in those guys that were on loan, so we've made a couple of guys permanent. I think it's all comparative to other teams at the moment, because I don't think there's ever been a window where other teams have been so aggressive as well in who they're picking up and who's coming into teams. Like there's multiple teams spending hundreds and hundreds of millions.
Well, it's less. It's like a smaller number of teams, but it's Chelsea, Liverpool, and Arsenal over the last few years.
And United. Over the last few years. They've
spent so aggressively, but Spurs and up until this season, Newcastle and Villa too. But this season, it's just Liverpool and City and Arsenal, and Chelsea ramping it
United
up.
Too, though. United have got Cunha and Mbeumo, Zesco, and I don't think Believer will end up happening because I don't think Brighton will let them go. But they're signing a lot of players. I mean, Newcastle's window is worse than ours for sure. They've had a nightmare, and I guess that is pro Langs working in silence because you don't get rejected publicly like Liverpool. I mean, Newcastle have been rejected publicly constantly. But yeah, I think if we went in isolation, like so far are we still 2 weeks out from the window closing with making 2 guys permanent that we were, or most of us were happy. Everyone was happy with Danso, I think, making him permanent. Tell is young, so there's still question marks on him whether he'll turn out to be the player, but we reduced the fee. Palhinha was probably the best defensive 6 in the league for 2 seasons. We had the most tackles in that period of time. Kudos looks great for us in terms of ball carrying, and he's exciting as well. If just in isolation with 2 weeks left, we've also brought in a young defender as well. I think you could be like, well, we're doing well so far, I think. And if we can add the cherry on top, then great. It'd be amazing. And I think we do need to do that, especially with where we are in our cycle of Spurs' growth over the years. I think potentially now is not just that other teams are doing a lot, but we're sort of getting to that point where we should be able to do that now. Not be able to take players that Liverpool want, because Liverpool still have the huge pull of their fan, how big they are as a club and stuff like that. But there's no reason now where we don't have the money to be able to do these things. So I think there's expectation that we can do things now and have that marquee signing, plus the other teams doing stuff and making our window not look as good as I think in isolation it probably is. I feel like it's going well so far. And then the final part is injuries. If Maddison and Kulu were fit, this situation wouldn't be as dramatic either. So yeah, I've merged into that topic now. But are you fine with me merging into that topic, Jim?
No, it's absolutely fine. Let's let it flow how it flows. But
Yeah.
I'll just bring up quickly to set the scene because on the squads, I think just want to add with Man United. I feel United are a little bit different because whereas I think Liverpool, City, and Chelsea have done really good business and bought good players that are good value, I think Man United have overpaid for players that haven't addressed their main issues and are more attainable. Like I just don't put their windows in the same bracket, maybe in terms of how much they've continued to evolve. But I'll just
have a track record too of failing with bringing their sort. Like every player that's come in the last nearly 5 years has been unsuccessful. So you're kind of like, well, will Sesko be any good because he's a United player?
Well, this, if you can see it, was our 11 just before Ange joined. So when Ange did sign, basically, we didn't have a number 10. Well, because Kane was pretty much number 10 and striker, wasn't he? Son and Perisic were our left wingers, but Perisic had done his ACL, I believe, so he wasn't available. So we just had one left winger. Kulusevski was our only right winger, if you call him a right winger. So we had one player in each position in the front four. If one of them got injured, we were talking about Bentancur or then even younger Sarr, or like there really was just no such thing as depth in that team. Our midfield has a few overlapping names, but come on, I mean, Højbjerg, Skip, Sarr, Basuma, there's not much creativity in there. Left back was Davies and Sessegnon. Longley and Sanchez left centre back.
This is crazy.
Romero, Tanganga at right centre back. I think there you've got one centre back you'd go as the level one player in that whole squad. I'd say you've got three, maybe four players in the whole squad. You could push up to 5 that you're like, yeah, we should keep them. It's looking pretty bleak. Lloris was on a big slide at that point. I'm just kind of highlighting this to show that things have changed. Then you lose Kane, which is just the most enormous drop-off because he carried us to a higher points in the table than we could with that squad. But then we go to 22 or 25. Even then, no backup left back. Van der Ven and Davies are left centre back. Romero and Dragusin right centre back. It's kind of a bit more balanced though. We've got a number 10. We've got 2 right wingers. We've got 2 left wingers. 2.5 if you include Werner. 2 out-and-out strikers. Things start to move forward a little bit. 2 midfielders in Bergvall and Bentancur who can maybe pass the ball forward a bit. Then you go through to this season, and I feel just now there's a lot of injuries. We need to almost. I wish there was a pen. Oh, there is a pen on here. You can start to draw this stuff on, but because there's mammoth number of players out at the moment, like Maddison, Solanke, and others. But when everyone's fit in here, that squad actually looks all right, doesn't it, guys? I just see us being a bit doomy gloomy about it, but I'm kind of like, Udogie is a player that has been linked to Manchester City for good reason. Van der Ven we all rate very highly. Romero's Romero. Danso's a good player. Vicario's a decent keeper. Kinski's a good backup. Porro, I think, is fast flying up in stock. Paulinho, we think, improves the side. Bentancur's still a good player. Bergvall's come on loads. Sarr's come on quite a lot. Kudus, we think, is going to be a good signing. There's reasons for, before those crushing injuries, that there was quite a bit of reason for some hope. Do you guys feel the squad's progressed over the last 3 years, I guess? JJ, if you're back on... Yeah. Do you feel the squad's progressed? Or do you feel it's kind of standing still? What's your thoughts?
I think there are ways that you could look at it that it has progressed. We are, unfortunately, and I think we've said this before, we are having to pay for the sins of prior transfer windows and, lack of future planning, lack of sorting out homegrown and club trained, lack of bringing through academy players. And so we've had to do a lot of that work in the last couple of seasons. And so we've started to do that. And the idea being is that you're hoovering up some of the best talent that there is in those younger players. So you're bringing in Gray and you're bringing in Bergvall, players like that who are, potential for the future. But if you want to be more successful than we have been, i.e. a 5th place finish in one season and a Europa League, which when you just write it down on paper like that isn't too bad, right? If you said that without any context, but you are going to need if you're going to challenge, and that's the bit that we still haven't done. It feels like we haven't done it. Palhinha, to a certain extent, does that for us. Palhinha is a profile we didn't have. We now have it. He is not going to change, the season dramatically for Tottenham. He's not going to be the one player that everything.
Tottenham Hotspur have apparently opened talks, club-to-club talks with Manchester City for exciting, electric, game-changing winger, Savinho. No, this isn't clickbait. Well, some of you will call me clickbait anyway because you'll call it delusional. You'll say it's ridiculous. Why would he come? But the story has dropped from Fabrizio Romano Sunday at 11:45 p.m. I was just getting ready for bed, and out you get. Your day's not done. What do you want me to tell you? That's what we do here. Breaking news off of Twitter from Fabrizio Romano. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about it right now. What a lovely little finish to the Sunday session this one might just be. Before you get into it, guys, please smash the like button if you're happy with this one. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. I'm excited. Hit the notification bell and drop, excuse me, a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this evening's late topic. Guys, let's have a look. It's not me. See, I know most of you sitting there having a crack at me already. It's not me. This is Romano, ladies and gentlemen. It's Romano, and he is saying exclusive Tottenham open club-to-club talks to sign Savinho from Manchester City. Negotiations ongoing between Spurs and City. Also understand Savinho's open to the move if the clubs can agree on a fee. THFC boss Thomas Frank indicated Savinho as an ideal player. Now, we've heard, guys, I mean, this is lovely. Ratatata. What a player, by the way. What a player. I'll come to his FB refs. I'll come to the data on the guy in a minute. Obviously, he smashed it out of the park when he was at Girona. Comes back to City last year and did really, really well as well. I mean, an extraordinary talent. He's got all of the tricks in the book, all of the flicks and the lovely sort of versatile play. He can play off the right. He can play off the left. He's got finishing acumen that I'm sure you could see him as inside forwards. And look, the guy's got just about everything that you'd like to see to get everybody excited. I'll come to all that stuff in a minute. Let's just talk about the last sentence here. Tottenham Hotspur boss Thomas Frank indicated Savinho is the ideal player. Now, if you remember, over the last couple of days, there's been a lot of sort of commentary coming from Thomas Frank with regards to what he was saying on the rooftop of the bar in Seoul when he was talking to the journalists. There's been other commentary as well saying, look, we are active in the market. We are in the market, but only for the right player. We're not just going to sign anybody. He also talked about, and I spoke about this before, where he was inferring that, he didn't want to come out and say that the Brentford scouting model was better than Tottenham's, but it was very good. Well, I think that was his way of saying, actually, it is better, but it's probably better because of a consequence of 7 years working there, everybody knowing their part, everybody knowing their role, everybody knowing each other like the backs of their hands, and it just became seamless, whereas all of that has to start again at Tottenham. And I think he said even before, like earlier on today, or at least I saw quotes earlier today saying that he was saying that he has to spend a lot more time with Johan because they're just not kind of on the same page necessarily, or they're not really singing from the same hymn sheet with regards their talent ID and what it is that they want. So if this one is coming from Thomas Frank, it's a Frank-made initiative, which is great. And it's a player that, I mean, it would just be sensational for him to get his guy, for us to get a player like that, especially before Wednesday, if possible. And look, we know that these things move quickly with Tottenham, so you might even find that it's a here we go tomorrow. I mean, I don't know. I'm speculating. I'm just so excited. It's been such a terrible week. Let's have a little look-see, guys, at the player's sort of history just for a second. We'll come to the epi-refs in a second. So predominantly plays off the right wing because he's left-footed, right? So he likes to cut in, but can play in the attacking midfielder role as well. He's that clever. And he can obviously play off the left-hand side if you want a guy that wants to take it down to the byline. But he's predominantly on the left wing on the right wing because he likes to cut inside. Now, if we look at his Club World Cup recently, just 3 games played, a goal and an assist. a goal every 300 minutes. If we look at his history, so he was started off in Brazil at Atletico. Then he went from MG to Troyes for $6.5 million. From Troyes, he went on loan to Eindhoven, and then eventually was sold to Girona. Oh, sorry, even then, sorry, it was he was on loan at Girona. Sorry, it was Troyes that he was bought from. Sorry, I didn't realise that. I thought he was like a full-time player at Girona. My bad. So £25 million was the fee, but €50 million was the valuation that Manchester City eventually paid for the guy. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I thought
Palace
I thought he was
won the Community Shield,
he was at Girona full time.
All the back pages.
Either
this
way,
one on the Times, Van
either
Dijk
way,
dismay as Jota tribute was ruined.
Lines, loads of drama, loads
you
of
were
late
there.
goals.
Did you hear it? Because it was
horrendous.
And it's so disappointing because why does anyone think it's acceptable to ruin any tribute, but to ruin
better for his players. I think with Sesko coming in, he's that focal point, isn't he? 6'5", he's a big lad. I think he scored more goals than anybody across Europe since the age of under 23. That's absolutely incredible, and that's what they need, Manchester United. They needed goals. He's been given the funds, the manager now. I'm not sure they're quite finished in the transfer market, but he was sought after, and he's a top quality player.
I'm intrigued by where Mason Mount plays, for example. He started today. Where Bruno Fernandes plays, is he in a 10 position behind a 9? Are they a 4-3-3, or is Fernandes going out to the left and Buemo from the right, Šeško down the middle? Where does that leave Zirkzee? You're right, there's options there. It's a real conundrum, and if he doesn't get it right, the pressure will mount straight away.
Oh, I think he'll know that himself, absolutely, but I think he likes pressure, Ruben Amorim. He wants that pressure. He's brought in the players that he wanted to bring out. Don't think he'll change the 5 at the back. I think that's there to stay. It's how he adapts the players in front. You're right with Bruno. Has he got the legs to break forward as much now? I still think he'll get goals, but it's so interesting, isn't it? I don't think they've got that centre forward who's going to get 20, 25 goals. They're going to spread it around, which I think is good for Manchester United, and they need goals.
Did I say 4-3-3? I meant 3-4-3. I apologise.
Okay.
Well, thanks for pulling me up on that. Let's bring in Dean Ashton, who was a top striker, England international in his time. Šeško, how much of a difference do you feel he could make to Manchester United, Dean?
I think he has huge potential to bring that. I think he's a scorer of great goals, and I think there is the potential that he could become a great goal scorer as well. But it is still a risk. He's not the finished article, the same as Højlund. But what he is going to have around him is genuine quality this season. The recruits that they brought in, and Buemo, Cunha, Bruno Fernandes is already there. He's going to get given chances. But it's different. It's different expectation when you go to a club like Manchester United. You have to deliver. You can't take months and months to bed your way in. They expect quality straight away. So I'm just hoping, in terms of the mentality of Šeško, he's ready for that.
You know the difference, Dino, with him and Rasmus Højlund is he's now got quality players around him, and he will be given those opportunities to score goals. I think that was Rasmus Højlund's problem, was the 2 wide players they'd had throughout the seasons that he's been there just never provided the service for him, and his hold-up play wasn't good enough for a Manchester United centre-forward.
Also, I think his ceiling is higher than Højlund's. I think he's got more attributes that he can contribute to Manchester United, and if he can bed in very quickly, I think they have got a top player that will only get better as well.
And Dean, a quick word from you as a former West Ham man on the signing of Mads Hermansen from Leicester City. I did feel that they needed strengthening in the goalkeeping department, West Ham.
Yeah, it never felt as if Areola really had the number 1 shirt, even from Fabianski. And Hermansen, I've been really impressed with his time at Leicester. Very much the modern goalkeeper. Great shot stopper, but the modern goalkeeper with the ball at his feet. He genuinely is superb. Will he go straight in? Obviously, that's going to be the big question with the opening game next week.
We shall see. We're updating you from West Ham's pre-season friendly this afternoon. The teams have come out here at the Bet365, and fair to say, Mickey, even though Stoke City, since they got relegated, have delivered dross season in, season out, you can hear the fans, they're optimistic.
Yeah, because they want, as you mentioned earlier, Adrian, they want to try and push towards the top of the Championship table, which they've not been able to do in the seasons they've been back in the Championship. No, this was a great club. You go back to the years of Tony Pulis, whether you like the football or not, they got results. They ground out results. They got themselves into the promised land, the Premier League, but Since then, they've had experienced managers like Mark Hughes. He left Blackburn, Man City, to come to Stoke City, trying to change the philosophy of football. I wonder whether going back to type might just suit Stoke City. Now, look at the players. Sober Thomas, a good dribbler with the ball, likes to run in behind. You look at Mbama, young centre-forward, wants to impress and wants to improve. These players have got to stand up for themselves today and make it really difficult for a Derby County side that need to do exactly the same thing.
Yeah, listen, the Championship season is underway. Last night we brought you live exclusive commentary on TalkSport of what was a cracking atmosphere at St Andrews. Birmingham City led, thought they were going to get the victory, but then conceded a really soft penalty. It was a pen though, and it finished 1-1 against Ipswich Town. So two teams that were separated by two divisions last season meeting in the Championship, finishing all square, and the team that was in the Premier League, Ipswich, getting a little bit lucky. This lunchtime, Charlton have beaten Watford by 1-0. Harvey Nibbs in the 94th minute. Live on TalkSport 2, it finished Coventry 0, Hull City 0, and Southampton beat Wrexham 2-1. Live on TalkSport. Just leaving it like that doesn't tell the story. Wrexham led at half-time, a Josh Winders penalty. They could have scored 2 or 3, actually, Wrexham, in that first half. Southampton, though, got their act together, bossed the second half. On 90 minutes, they were still 1 down. Ryan Manning with a sensational free kick to equalise. And then Jack Stevens, the veteran, the long-serving Saints player, with a winner tapping in from close range right at the death to break Red Dragons' heart. Southampton 2, Wrexham 1. On TalkSport 2, you're going to get commentary this afternoon of West Brom against Blackburn. That's about to kick off at the Hawthorns. After that, another live exclusive commentary as Sheffield United take on Bristol City. 5:30 for two sides who met in the playoffs last season. Sheffield United beating Bristol City in the playoff semi-final, and then Sheffield United losing to Sunderland in the playoff final at Wembley. They meet at 5:30 live and exclusive on TalkSport 2. League One, it finished Peterborough 0, Luton 2, Reading 0, Huddersfield 2. So both Luton and Huddersfield 100% so far. And in League 2, Salford 1, 2-1 at Notts County, and Tranmere beat Shrewsbury by 4-0 to make it 4 points from their 2 games to start the season. But we're about to get this game underway. The 3 o'clock games in the Championship and in League 1, League 2 get underway. We're bringing you the goals as they go in on TalkSport, and flag up for you tomorrow, Leicester Sheffield Wednesday, 4:30 live on TalkSport 2. And we've got a live commentary on TalkSport from Wembley as the FA Cup winners face the Premier League champions.
Title is coming back to Anfield after a 5-year absence.
And now we
out with Jack Grealish and tried to convince him to join the Toffees. What a night out that was. And White and Jordan are back together next week, 10 a.m. till 1 p.m. They spent a lot of time apart, probably needed to. Back together 10 till 1, Monday to Thursday. England's number 1 Hannah Hampton was on that show yesterday, explaining how she threw the Spanish keeper's water bottle into the crowd for the shootout in the Euro final in Basel a couple of weeks ago because it had penalty tactics on it. That is the kind of lack of fair play I want from my England goalkeeper. Game day live on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Don't forget you can stream the biggest Premier League games available with no contract on now, like Bournemouth Aston Villa live today. Search Now Sports. Right, let's take you around the grounds on TalkSport, starting here at a lively Bet365. Mickey Gray.
Yeah, still Stoke City 0, Derby County 0, but it's the home side who've just had the first opportunity in the game. Manoof down this right-hand side. Lovely little chop ball onto his left foot, just whipped it in behind the 2 centre-halves of Derby County, and you could see Jun Ho Bay. He tried to get his head on it, which he did, but he couldn't quite get enough pace on the header. Really open game of football. It's going to be interesting to see how Carlton Morris settles into this starting 11 for Derby County. Didn't have the best of seasons last time around at Luton, but he's certainly got goals in him. But as of yet, still stalemate. Stoke 0, Derby 0.
Yeah, this is Stoke against Derby. 18th against 19th from last season. And Derby manager John Eustace saying they are nowhere near the finished article, and actually he's signed players who are injured. I think Bobby Clark, the former Liverpool player, is in on loan, but he still needs a little bit of time as well. So you can see where John Eustace is coming from.
Yeah, he's on the bench, Adrian, Bobby Clark, and I think he will improve this Derby County 11. There's no doubt about it. He wanted to make those changes. I think both managers actually needed a pre-season. They needed to look at the squads that they had and how many changes they needed to make. I think it's 8 for Stoke City with Stephen Nzonzi coming in to Stoke over the last couple of days, and 9 for Derby County. And if he says it's not finished, then he's still obviously not happy with his squad, and it's just about getting off to a good start, as these both sides will be trying to do.
Indeed, it is. We've had a chance already. Stoke had it, but didn't take it. Stoke 0, Derby 0. Let's head to Carrow Road on TalkSport. Dean Ashton and Mike Sewell.
5 minutes played, still Norwich 0, Millwall 0, but Josh Sargent is already giving the Millwall captain Jake Cooper a torrid time. He's just got away from him down the right-hand side, and a couple of minutes ago he had the central section of his shirt ripped out after Cooper grabbed hold of him, and he got clear midway inside the Millwall half. And surprisingly, Dean Ashton, Cooper didn't get a yellow card.
Incredible. I've transported myself back to the opening day, and I'm Josh Sargent. You walk out, the grass is perfect, the new netting's on, new kit on your shoulders, the boot deals arrive, pink boots on, and you walk out like Bergkamp and Henry, and then 5 minutes in, Jake Cooper's ripped your shirt. The referee doesn't give him a yellow card, which is absolutely incredible, and reality kicks in. It's a slog, this league.
The Sargent getting the better of the captain, but it remains 0-0 at Carrow Road.
We've got goals going in, though. League One, Burton Albion. Charlie Webster scored 2 great goals from long range for them for their win last week on day 1 of the season, where they lead again. It's a Jake Beasley penalty this time. Barnsley 0, Burton Albion 1. That in League One. We'll go to the Riverside on TalkSport. Lucy Ward and Graham Courtney.
Yeah, we've got 6 minutes on the clock here. Still Middlesbrough 0, Swansea 0. Actually, Swansea have flown out the blocks. They had a free kick in the opening minute, and Ji Sung and Josh Tymon, well, they stood over the ball. Tymon ran over it. Ji Sung then lifted it into the Borough area. It fooled the Borough defence. Only trouble was it fooled all the Swansea players as well, and it went out for a goal kick. But I'm here with Lucy Ward. Lucy, early thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I mean, Swansea have started the better of the two teams. I think Middlesbrough, obviously Rob Edwards likes to play a 3 at the back. I think he played a back 4 in pre-season, but they're certainly setting out in a back 5 at home. Middlesbrough, they've certainly been the second of the two teams. Swansea, like you say, have been a little bit higher energy than Borough, but it's just getting used. I don't think the squad is suited to a back 3 at the moment. They certainly need to get more transfers in, including a left wing back at the moment. Silvera's playing there.
I think they're looking at the moment also at both sides to bring in a striker. The trouble is everybody's looking for a striker, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I mean, it gives a chance Tommy Conway for Middlesbrough to sort of stake his claim. You know, he does score goals, but there's no backup striker, so it's up to him now to sort of make his mark as a number 9 for Borough.
Chance here for the Borough, and the Borough actually see if they can loop the ball in the area, but it's not actually going to go out wide. We've got 7 minutes on the clock here at the Riverside. Still Middlesbrough 0, Swansea 0.
Stoke playing some good stuff here, but remains 0-0 against Derby. Elsewhere in the National League, Braintree lead Halifax 1-0. Lewis Walker. It's the first day of the National League season, by the way. Southend United beaten playoff finalists last season. Lead 1-0 at Gateshead. The former Kidderminster captain Sam Austin with the goal. Also in the National League, Scunthorpe are back there, and they lead at Tamworth by a goal to 0. Dan Whitehall with the goal. Promoted back to the National League via the National League North playoffs last season. Scunthorpe, and it was built on the best defence in the National League North last season. They conceded only 30 goals in 46 games, a stunning 27 clean sheets. Keep another clean sheet today, and Scunthorpe get a win on day 1. Tamworth 0, Scunthorpe 1. Let's go back to the Championship, to the Hawthorns. Here's Jeff Peters.
It's West Brom 0, Blackburn 0. The Baggies going very close in the early stages to taking the lead. A free kick from Isaac Price from a distance. Cheeky effort, really. Everyone thought he was just going to curl the ball into the main players in the box, but he decided to try and catch the goalkeeper out, Bolash Tot, but he managed to just knock the ball over his own crossbar and out for a corner. So the Baggies going close. Price, a very highly rated young player, 21 years old, former Everton youngster. He's been playing out in Belgium, Northern Ireland international. They've got a real high hopes for him and the likes of Tom Fellows here, but that was the only real big opportunity in the early stages here. West Brom 0, Blackburn 0.
And that's live on TalkSport 2. Right now we have a goal. It's in League One at Adams Park. Chris Holt.
9 minutes gone. Wycombe 0, Stockport County 1, and the visitors County in green, and very much seen early on, very visible and very dangerous, peppering the Wycombe penalty area, and it's Kyle Wootton who has just fired home from about 8 yards out after a lovely pullback from the left-hand side. Wycombe 0, Stockport 1.
Both of those involved in the playoffs last season. Wycombe, troubled times. Richard Coney, if you didn't hear before, on the bench this afternoon. He's been linked with moves to Leicester, West Brom, Borough, Celtic, Preston, Swansea. Hasn't happened yet. Back to the Championship. What's the latest at Loftus Road? TalkSport's Sam Ellards.
It's QPR 0, Preston 0. No goals yet, but both sides have had chances. First chance of the game fell to Preston. Across on the right-hand side, it was Lewis Gibson unmarked. His header from 12 yards went just wide. Then Illich for QPR picked up the ball on the left-hand side. Quick feet, was able to deliver a dangerous ball to the back post, where Kwame Poku was arriving late from close range. His effort went over. Really open game of football here. We've been playing for 10 minutes. It's QPR 0, Preston 0.
TalkSport takes you to the Kassam. Alex Crook.
Oxford 0, Portsmouth 0. The travelling Pompey fans in fine voice in these early stages, and their team have been by far the better. Callum Lang has been absolutely sensational down the Pompey right-hand side. He made a brilliant burst down this near touchline, stood up across towards the far post. Debutant Florin Bianchini couldn't quite get enough on his header to trouble goalkeeper Jamie Cumming, but it's all one-way traffic at the moment. The ball is launched long towards the Oxford penalty area. Colby Bishop, the Pompey captain, couldn't quite get on the end of that one, but at the moment it seems a matter of time until the visitors from the South Coast take the lead. It's Oxford 0, Portsmouth 0.
Robbie Savage is the new manager of Forest Green Rovers, who finished second in the National League last season but missed out on the playoffs. They're at Solihull Moors this afternoon, and Solihull down to 10 men already. After just 6 minutes, Darius Lipsuk has been sent off for the start to the season. That is elsewhere. League 2, Colchester lead at Oldham 1-0. Jack Tucker with the goal. And in the National League, Ollie Pearce is at it again. National League Player of the Year last year. Top scorer, 31 goals, and he scored for York City, who leads Sutton by a 1-0 this afternoon. We're in League 1 on TalkSport at Bolton. Simon Crabtree.
Yeah, it's still Bolton Wanderers 0, Plymouth Argyle 0. It's a bit of a cagey start, half chances you would say for both teams. Terry Gale had a good run down the right-hand side for Bolton Wanderers, couldn't quite find Mason Bustow in the middle, and Plymouth Argyle had a shot charged down by Mali Mwamba just as he was getting inside the area. The fans are in fine fettle, but it's still goalless here at the Tough Sheet Stadium. We've just passed the 11-minute mark.
And let's head to the League 2 game at Priestfield. Gareth Ainsworth still protecting an unbeaten record as Gillingham manager Ian Abrahams.
Yeah, Gillingham 0, Walsall 0. His side should be ahead, Adrian, as well. Great chance inside 3 minutes. Max Clark corner to the far post. Robbie McKenzie completely unmarked running in 6 yards out and somehow put his volley wide as Priestley goes through for Walsall and fires over the top of the crossbar. It's Gillingham 0, Walsall 0.
It's been lively so far this afternoon on the first Saturday afternoon of the Championship season, first Saturday afternoon of the National League season as well. Let's remind you what the scores were earlier. Charlton beat Watford 1-0, Coventry 0, Hull 0, Southampton 2, Wrexham 1 was live on TalkSport. No further goals in the Championship as yet. In League 1 it finished Posh 0, Luton 2, Huddersfield 2-0 winners at Reading this lunchtime. Early goals elsewhere, Barnsley 0, Burton 1, Exeter lead Blackpool by a 1-0, and Stockport a 1-up at Wickham. League 2 it finished Notts County 1, Salford 2, Tranmere 4, Shrewsbury 0, Oldham 0, Colchester 1 is a latest score, and plenty of goals in the National League. Altrincham have just taken the lead against Aldershot 1-0. Elsewhere, Southend 1 up at Gateshead, Braintree lead Halifax 1-0, Scunthorpe lead 1-0 at Tamworth, and it's York 1, Sutton United 0. We're waiting for goals in Scotland. This is TalkSport.
They've been building up to this all summer. Dan tucks into a tight 360.
They're trying to get away with it. It's almost like when he said that they're not ready, they're not the finished article. I think it's a little bit more serious than that.
Well,
possibly.
I don't think he's pulling any punches, Adrian.
No.
I think it's gospel truth, because I talked about Carlton Morris. He's a very good player in this division, but he's not going to get the service. Certainly with these two players, Blacker Taylor, Jackson and Adams around him at the moment, just can't get into the game at all. And Carlton Morris, he's been coming back defending, helping out more than he has been attacking.
He has. It's goalless, but Stoke on top. Stoke 0, Derby 0. Goal in League 1. Exeter double their lead against Blackpool 2-0. Jack Fitzwater with it. Blackpool lost 3-2 at home to Stevenage last week. Remember, they're managed by Steve Bruce. He was a brilliant centre-half in his day, won loads with Manchester United. The 3 goals they conceded to Stevenage last week were absolute shocking from a defensive point of view. Fraser Horsfall, new signing, awful back pass. Michael Hickway, inexplicable handball for the second. Keeper Bailey Peacock-Farrell playing out from the back badly for the third, and they're already 2 down at Exeter after 15 minutes. Exeter 2, Blackpool 0. And in the National League, Solihull Moors are down to 10 men, but they lead Robbie Savage's Forest Green by a 1-0. Oscar Rutherford has scored that one. Let's go to the Riverside in the Championship on TalkSport. Here's Lucy Ward and Graham Courtney.
17 gone here. Middlesbrough 0, Swansea 0. The Borough, well, they're sort of getting going after a little bit of a slow start. In the 10th minute, fast counter-attack. Morgan Whittaker with a cross. Big season this, by the way, for him since he arrived from Plymouth last season. Deflected out for a corner. Nothing came from it, but you can plainly see it's something that Middlesbrough have been working on. But Lucy, you've got to say, of the two sides, there's a shot coming in from Swansea that gets deflected away. Of the two sides, you think Swansea are probably the one creating the most danger.
Yeah, I think that Swansea look a lot more comfortable in this 4-2-3-1 shape. Now, Rob Edwards wants them to play in a back three, Middlesbrough, and at the start of the game they were sitting in a back five, and he's increased the wing backs to get forward, which has helped. And obviously the 2 10s behind Tommy Conway, and it's about their runs as well, and they're gradually working it out. And I'm not sure that they've always played a back three in pre-season, so it's like they're just figuring it out. But they've got the talented players, Bury, but Swansea certainly look a lot more comfortable in the way that they're playing.
Yeah, I mean, Tommy Conway last season, 13 goals from 27 games. Not a bad ratio, but he's wearing the number 9 out there. I don't think he's a number 9.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking, obviously, I mean, they're wanting money from the likes of Hayden Hackney so that they can get a proper number 9 in, and Conway maybe play one of those number 10s. But it's just when the transfer window's going on at the same time as you start the season, you want to start with a bit of momentum. So you do certainly want a goal scorer on the pitch. Conway works really, really hard. You can play the ball into him, but it's about putting the ball in the back of the net, and certainly Bury need that.
Certainly, yeah. Both sides crying out for a striker. We have got 18 minutes on the clock here at the Riverside. Middlesbrough 0, Swansea 0.
Crewe Alexandra in League 2 looking to back up their first day win at Salford. They lead Accrington 1-0. Reece Hutchinson with the goal. In League 1, Leyton Orient 1, Wigan 0. Summer signing from Fulham, Stephen Sessegnon's own goal, putting Leyton Orient in front. They lost at Huddersfield last week. Leyton Orient got battered. In fact, Richie Wellens, the manager, reacted by saying extremely poor, very immature, nowhere near. Well, they lead 1-0 this afternoon. Let's go to Loftus Road in the Championship. TalkSport, Sam Ellards.
Still QPR 0, Preston 0, no goals yet. We had a pretty frantic opening 10 minutes of the game, end-to-end football. Lewis Gibson had a header which went just wide for Preston. Then Kwame Poku from close range just shot over after really good work down the left-hand side from Ilias Chair, who once again looks QPR's best and most dangerous player. Things, though, in the last 10 minutes have just settled down a touch as QPR, who are dominating the majority of the possession. Preston, when they have the ball, looking to go long to their big 2 centre-forwards, Michael Smith and Osmajic, but I think QPR will want to get Ilias Chair on the ball as much more. He's at the moment hasn't seen enough for the ball again. The one time he did get it, he created QPR's best opening. But 22 minutes gone here at Loftus Road. It's still QPR 0, Preston 0.
A League 1 goal at Bolton, Simon Crabtree.
Yeah, it's Bolton Wanderers 1, Plymouth Argyle 0. This game just burst into life after the last 5 minutes or so. Bolton Wanderers started pressing Plymouth Argyle, knocking on the door. They won a corner, their second of the game. It was a lovely drilled effort just over the top of Luca Ashby-Hammond, the Plymouth goalkeeper, and there was Owen Toll, newly crowned captain here at Bolton Wanderers, to smash a header past the goalkeeper, giving him no chance whatsoever. It's turned into a little bit of a cracker here now. Just past 21 minutes, it's Bolton Wanderers 1, Plymouth Argyle 0.
Goal in Scottish Premiership. Livingston and Falkirk both drew their games 2-2 last weekend on the opening day of the season. Both had to come from behind for a point. Livingston lead 1-0 this afternoon. Scott Pittman, Livingston 1, Falkirk 0. Back to the Championship, to Carrow Road, Dean Ashton and Mike Sewell.
At the midway point of the first half, it's still Norwich 0, Millwall 0. Norwich making by far the better start to this game and have had the best opportunity. Mirko Topic, one of their 5 debutants in the starting 11, with a shot from just outside the area, which was blocked en route by Tanganga. And Dean, Norwich playing 3 at the back and so offensive and attack-minded.
I think they've settled superbly to what Liam Manning wants and this new system that he's brought into this Norwich side. I think Mirko Topic, I think, is going to be a star already, and I've only seen 20 or so minutes of him. Everything about it is slick, the way they're moving it forwards. It's just that final bit. Josh Sargent coming short, Forson and Cernat's not offering enough in behind Josh Sargent at the moment.
And it's only now that Millwall are beginning to make inroads towards the Norwich penalty area. A cross from the near post is touched away by Vladan Kovacevic. Norwich 0, Millwall 0.
Lincoln City beat Reading 2-0 on the opening day last weekend, but they're up against it this afternoon. It's goalless for them at Wimbledon at Plough Lane, but their centre-half Adam Jackson has been sent off. Wimbledon 0, 10-man Lincoln 0. Let's head to the Kassam. Latest there in the Championship. TalkSport's Alex Crook.
Still Oxford 0, Portsmouth 0, still one-way traffic as far as the visitors are concerned. Neat interplay a few moments ago between Colby Bishop and the Pompey danger man Callum Lang. In the end, the ball came for Florian Bianchini, who's also been lively on debut, but on this occasion he could only shoot tamely into the arms of Jamie Cumming. We're yet to see anything at all of host Oxford by way of an attacking threat. They're coming forward as I speak, but again it all breaks down on the edge of the penalty area. Gary Rowett, the Oxford manager, showing his frustration towards the referee. He's picked up a yellow card. I have to say, speaking to the Oxford fans before the game, they weren't particularly optimistic about the season ahead. I don't think they've seen much in the opening 25 minutes to change that view. It's Oxford 0, Portsmouth 0.
They can be optimistic about their ground, though, because they might have to be out of the Kassam Stadium by 2027, but the club's new stadium has been recommended for approval by council planners last week, so that is at least a positive for them. Blackpool pull one back at Exeter, but they trail 2-1. Ashley Fletcher with it halfway through the first half. Exeter 2, Blackpool 1. That's in League One, and so is this at Adams Park. TalkSport's Chris Hull.
Adrian, 25 gone, Wycombe 0, Stockport 1. Since Stockport's opener from Kyle Wootton, his second in 2 games, Wycombe have looked to get back into this contest. Luke Lee playing in Dan Udo with a slide rule pass into the penalty area. Udo's shot saved by the feet of Adai, the county keeper. Stockport, however, still the better side. Wycombe 0, County 1.
And we're in League 2 as well at Priestfield. Ian Abrahams.
25 gone, still Gillingham 0, Walsall 0. The early chance for Robbie McKenzie. Slightly better by one for Bradley Dack. Dack, who looks like me from a distance with loads of grey hair. Maybe I'm becoming fashionable in my old age. But his shot from the edge of the D wasn't very fashionable, really, for Gillingham. It went just over the crossbar, but it was their first real effort from a player who is really loved here. Walsall at the other end, Charlie Larkin with a shot from 10 yards over the top of the crossbar. Their best effort today. Gillingham 0, Walsall 0.
You wish you looked like Bradley Dack. Let's get to the friendlies. Hill Dickinson Stadium, first of all. TalkSport's Matt Jones. I'm not sure.
And it's Everton 0, Roma 0 here, with Everton having the best of the game so far. They've had a number of chances, with Tierney Barry really showing what he can do. Dewsbury Hall setting him through for a lovely one-on-one, but he just missed his kick and couldn't quite convert. He's just headed over from a right-wing cross as well. Bit of a problem at the other end, though, for David Moyes, because Vitaly Mykolenko has come off injured very early on. It looked like a muscle injury as well, which could be a concern going into the Premier League season, which starts next week. He's been replaced, though, by Adam Asnou, making his first appearance for the club. Everton 0, Roma 0.
And another friendly for a Premier League side at West Ham. Angelina Kelly.
It's West Ham 0, Lille 0. It's been a lively start with chances for both sides. Lille have definitely seen more of the ball. They're known for dominating possession, especially in the French league anyway, so the Hammers have had to be patient at times. Lille's best chance came from new signing Marius Broholm, who had a shot from the right-hand side go across the keeper, but it was wide, and James Ward-Prowse answered this moments later with a great strike from the edge of the box, but that also was wide. West Ham 0, Lille 0.
That's a friendly kicking off at 4 at St James Park. Newcastle taking on Atletico Madrid. Steve Armisen.
It's all been about Alexander Isak in this summer transfer window. Will he stay or will he go? As Newcastle returned to St James's Park last night with a 2-2 draw against Espanyol. But unfortunately for Geordie fans, Alexander Isak didn't return. He's missed pre-season tour, trained on his own in Spain. Then on his return, Eddie Howe says you have to earn the right to train with this club, and that's it why he's absent. Newcastle fans would wanted more incomings than just Ramsdale and Elanga. It's been frustrating for Eddie Howe, who will want to sign off with a good performance here at St James's Park against a strong Atletico side who have Julian Alvarez and Conor Gallagher in their lineup. Newcastle, a fitness boost for Sven Botman. He plays at the back with Elanga, Gordon and Barnes leading the line. It's Newcastle Atletico Madrid from 4 o'clock.
Keep you updated here on TalkSport. Goals elsewhere. National League, Altrincham doubled their lead against Aldershot. Lewis Banks with the second for Alty. And in League 2, Fleetwood lead Bristol Rovers by a goal to nil. Will Davis Signed from Sutton in the summer, scored on debut at Barnet in the win last week. He's scored again this afternoon. Fleetwood leading Bristol Rovers 1-0. Bristol Rovers relegated last season, beaten at home by Harrogate 1-0 last week, 1 down this afternoon. After last week's defeat, the manager Darrell Clarke, in his second spell at Rovers, said he was disappointed and frustrated, but he talked about the players still suffering from the wounds from last season, which was a worrying thing for the Gas fans to hear. And they're 1 down at Fleetwood this afternoon as well. Championship latest scores: West Bromley Blackburn 1-0. Live on TalkSport 2 right now. The rest are goalless. We'll be around the ground shortly. In League 1, Wimbledon 0, 10-man Lincoln 0, Burton lead at Barnsley 1-0, Bolton 1, Plymouth 0, Exeter 2, Blackpool 1, Stockport 1 up at Wickham. The rest are goalless. In League 2, Fleetwood 1, Bristol Rovers 0, Crewe 1, Accrington 0, Oldham 0, Colchester 1. And in the National League, Altrincham 2, Aldershot 0, Braintree 1, Halifax 0, Southend 1 up at Gateshead. Solihull Moors with 10 men lead Forest Green by a goal to 0, and Scunthorpe lead at Tamworth 1-0. It's York 1, Sutton United 0, and in Scotland in the Premiership, Livingston 1, Falkirk 0. Goalless in the other 3 o'clock game, St Mirren Motherwell. Rangers Dundee kicks off at 5:45. It's Game Day live on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent a Car. Rent from best lineup in the UK. Enterprise has all the vehicles your business needs with the flexibility to rent for minutes or months. Round the grounds again in the Championship, starting here at Stoke. Alongside me, Mickey Gray.
Yeah, 29 on the clock. I think the tempo's just started to go out of the game. It's still Stoke 0, Derby County 0, but Derby have started to grow into the game a little bit more. Blacker-Taylor down this left-hand side, kind of a cross-come shot, but had to be saved by Johansson. He had to tip it round the far post, but they are starting to show signs of getting back into this game, albeit Stoke City are just dominating possession, taking their time, being patient, and they look the bigger threat of scoring the first goal this afternoon here at the Bet365. It's still Stoke 0, Derby 0.
Intrigued by Mbama because he was an FA Youth Cup winner with West Ham. Left there, went to Man City. He's here at Stoke on loan from City. I think it's a big opportunity for him to show what he could do. He didn't see a pathway to the first team, I don't think, at West Ham, which is why he left. Not quite sure there's a pathway to the first team easily at Man City, but he's in a first team in the Championship. This is where he's got to show something, if he's going to show something.
Yeah, absolutely, Eddie. I think he knows what first team football is all about now, but he's got to show a little bit more, certainly in a Stoke City shirt as well, and he's got quality players around him. I mean, the 2 wide players I'm seeing here today have been absolutely fantastic. One of them on the ball right now in Manuef. But again, they've been absolutely superb. But yeah, you're right, his goal ratio's got to get better. I know he's a young man and he's got a lot of time to grow and establish himself, but he's got to get better and certainly start scoring goals for his new club.
Well, Derby have got a 2-on-2 here, and they basically completely wasted it. I mean, that must be so frustrating because that was a big opportunity.
Yeah, Ebu Adams, it was a 2v2 situation, and he's got his head up. And it's like he didn't have an idea of what he was trying to do with it. Am I going to take my defender on, or am I going to try and play my teammate in, Carlton Morris? Well, he did neither, really. It was an outside of the boot right foot cross into the area where the keeper's come off his line. And it was a little bit of a clash together, to be honest, with nowhere near a penalty. But you're right. When you're in those positions, first day of the season, go and express yourself. Take your defender on and get your shots away. Really poor.
Yeah, no imagination, no dynamism there whatsoever. Remains goalless. Stoke 0, Derby 0. Crewe double their lead against Accrington 2-0. They're in front now, that in League 2. Back to the Championship. We're at Carrow Road on TalkSport. Dean Ashton and Mike Sewell.
Almost 32 minutes played still. Norwich 0, Millwall 0. Millwall have gradually worked their way into this game, but Norwich still posing a threat, particularly down the right-hand side, Dean.
Yeah, I mean, Stacey's been excellent. We haven't seen anything really of Alfie Doughty from a Millwall perspective. Looking at Millwall, not very complicated at all. And I mean that in a positive way. Defensively, I think teams are going to struggle to create chances against this Millwall team. Like their manager, very intense, off the ball, working incredibly hard, but pretty basic going forward. Just trying to hit it towards Coburn and Ivanovic, not really getting much joy themselves at the moment. Norwich pretty comfortable with the possession of the game.
And Millwall have not won here at Carrow Road in their last 24 attempts before today. That's going all the way back to November 1968. Norwich 0, Millwall 0.
Yeah, the Millwall manager, Alex Neil, exactly 50% win rates since he took charge at Millwall. Very close to making the playoffs last season. A goal in League 2, Swindon lead Cambridge 1-0. Aaron Drinan with it, the former Orient and Ipswich man. Swindon beaten at 10-man Walsall last week. Ian Holloway, the manager of Swindon, wasn't happy. He said that his players made Walsall's Connor Barrett look like Pele and Maradona. I mean, he scored a good goal, but I don't think it was that good. Let's go to the Riverside on TalkSport. Lucy Ward and Graham Courtney.
Yeah, still Middlesbrough 0, Swansea City 0. We've just had the best moments of the game, really. A couple came for Swansea, Ben Cabango, then number 5. He's in a tussle with the Boroughs defender Alfie Jones, one of the new signings here at Middlesbrough. The ball sort of squirts out to Ronald, and you know what? Lovely strike from him, and his effort just flew wide. Bit more accuracy, that would have been in. Minute later, ball in from the Swansea right, Liam Cullen. He's playing as a striker, glancing header, decent save by Sol Brynno in the Borough goal. Then down the other end, Morgan Whittaker. I mentioned earlier, this is going to be a big season for him since he arrived at the club last season. He's on the edge of the dean. He's going about things the right way. He's gone for broke. He's let fly, and the Swans keeper's just had to touch it onto the crossbar. Lucy, finally, game's broken out.
Yeah, it's been bitty, hasn't it, Graham? I think, you know, it's been competitive, but it's been broken up with fouls, some yellow cards, not really quality of chances. Borough getting used to the way that they're playing. Swansea, it's difficult for Swansea with Liam Cullen up front, and you've also got Ethan Galbraith. They're both quite small, so playing it into them and then using that as a base has been very difficult for Swansea. So they've had to build, they've had to get wide, but you know, they're trying to get balls into the box, but they just haven't got that physical presence in the middle. Borough finally getting themselves into the game and working their way up the pitch, and they have some quality. Hayden Hacknett, Zergborg, and like you say, Whittaker had that shot, but certainly coming to life a little bit more.
It certainly is. At the moment, though, you just get the impression this one, it ended exactly the same time last year, with Borough winning by 1-0 with a late goal. Could be the same this time around. We've got 35 minutes on the clock. Middlesbrough 0, Swansea 0.
Goal in the Scottish Championship. Partick battered last week. In fact, 4 of the 5 games in the Championship on the opening day were draws. The only one that wasn't was Partick being battered 5-1 at St Johnstone. They're 1 down at home to Morton this afternoon. Ali Crawford with a goal, Partick 0. Morton 1, and in League 2, Swindon have doubled their lead. That's 2 goals in 2 minutes. Harry Smith with the second. Swindon 2, Cambridge United 0. Back to the Championship, to the Hawthorns on TalkSport. Here's Jeff Peters.
West Brom lead Blackburn by 1-0. Isaac Price after 15 minutes. He's had a couple of other opportunities. The keeper denied him on one. Another effort was blocked. The summer signing on a Hegerber, £4.7 million with an effort. The keeper, Tot, at full stretch, pushed it away after Fellows' cutback. For Blackburn, they just had their first attempt. It was on target. Yuki Ohashi, talented striker. Griffiths with the save. Phillips then tidied up the rebound. Commentary over on TalkSport 2. It's West Brom 1, Blackburn 0.
And we've got another couple of goals for you in League 2. Will Davis has scored again. That's 3 in 2 games for the season already. We're less than 1.5 games in. Fleetwood 2, Bristol Rovers 0. And Burton go 2-0 up at Barnsley in League 1. Fabio Tavares, the former Coventry man, signed for Burton in the summer. The Portuguese has scored. That's Barnsley 0, Burton Albion 2. To Loftus Road on TalkSport, Sam Ellards.
QPR 0, Preston 0. It's QPR, though, dominating possession and dominating the game. It feels only a matter of time before they break the deadlock. The best chance of the half came early when Chair picked up the ball from the left-hand side. Quick feet, able to deliver a dangerous ball to the back post where Poku was arriving late, and from close range his effort went over. Dembele has had a couple of half chances for QPR playing from the left-hand side. He had a shot from a tight angle that was pushed away from the Preston goalkeeper and then shot over when he ran onto a cross. They came in from the right-hand side, so it was all QPR. Preston really struggling to get out of their own half. They're hanging on a little bit here, are the away side. 37 gone, it's all the home side. QPR 0, Preston 0.
League 2, Oldham promoted via the playoffs from the National League last season, level with Colchester 1-1. Josh Hawkes signed from Tranmere with the equaliser. To the Kassam in the Championship, TalkSport's Alex Crook.
And it's still Oxford 0, Portsmouth 0, but finally, after more than half an hour of playing time, Oxford have carved a meaningful opportunity. They have forced the Pompey goalkeeper, Nicholas Schmidt, into his first save. It came from a quick counter-attack and eventually led to Cameron Brannigan shooting from the edge of the penalty area as Colby Bishop goes bearing down on goal at the other end, saved by the Oxford goalkeeper and turned in on the rebound. And what an introduction to English football. Adrian Segicic has scored on his Pompey debut. Colby Bishop denied initially by a fine save from Jamie Cumming, but there was Segicic to tuck home into the bottom left corner from just inside the penalty area. Scenes of delight amongst those travelling hordes from the south coast. No sooner had Schmidt denied Brannigan at one end than Pompey take the lead at the other. Oxford 0, Portsmouth 1.
Goals as they go in on TalkSport, and Pompey's away form absolutely awful last season. They lost 15 away games, second worst record in the Championship last season. It was their home record that really kept them up. They were, though, unbeaten in the last 5 games of the season last campaign. So are they taking that into this season? Oxford 0, Portsmouth 1. You heard that go in live on TalkSport. Bromley lead Barnet 1-0 in the National League. Michael Cheek, who's been linked with all sorts of clubs this summer, still a Bromley player. Top scorer in League 2 last season, has got the goal on 36. Barnet, who lost 2-0 at home on their opening game last season after storming to the title in the National League. They are a goal down at the moment to Bromley. Let's head to League 1, Adams Park, Chris Hull.
39 gone, Wycombe 0, Stockport 1. Right now, County, the visitors, lead and in control. Captain for Stockport, Ollie Norwood, striking a stunner from 25 yards, heading towards goal, and it was blocked as it was goalward bound. Best chance for Wycombe just seconds ago. Corner from the left-hand side. The header comes in from Dan Casey. Well saved down to County keeper Adai's right-hand side. Wycombe 0, Stockport 1.
To Bolton in League 1 on TalkSport, Simon Crabtree.
Yeah, just over 38 minutes gone. It's Bolton Wanderers 1, Plymouth Argyle 0 here. That Owen Toll power header from just outside the 6-yard box from a John Sheehan corner on 20 minutes. Bolton are so dominated now, really. Shots from distance, Terry Gale and Mario Cosia-Dubry. Plymouth haven't really troubled the Bolton goalkeeper. It's Bolton Wanderers 1, Plymouth Argyle 0.
In the National League, Sutton equaliser at York 1-1 into League 2 to Priestfield. Ian Abrams.
5 to the break, Gillingham 0, Walsall 0, and chances at a premium really at both ends. Not too many of them, but a really good opportunity for Walsall a few minutes ago. On the left-hand side, they won a free kick just outside the penalty area, taken by Jamie Jellis, in swinging from his left foot. The goalkeeper didn't really come for it, and 4 yards out, headed by Mason Hancock, which was saved on the line by Glenn Morris, with Aidan Flint, the captain of Walsall, sniffing around in case there was a rebound opportunity. Still Gillingham 0, Walsall 0.
Goal in the Championship at Loftus Road. TalkSport, Sam Ellards.
Yeah, 40 minutes gone, QPR 1, Preston 0. It's exactly what QPR deserve. They've been outstanding in this first period, and they take the lead. It's going to go down as an own goal, but Keita Dembele take a bow. He does so well, running down the left-hand side, going in between a couple of players, showing really good upper body strength to stay on his feet, and then he fizzes across a dangerous ball. A Preston defender tries to clear it, and it smashes off another teammate. They couldn't clear their lines, but the assist is absolutely fantastic. I think it's going to go down as a Ben Whiteman own goal, but QPR have been fantastic all game, and they take the lead right before half-time. QPR 1, Preston 0.
Yeah, let's give you all the goals that have gone in so far. A word on Preston before that, though. A goal down at QPR, as just heard. They finished only a point above the relegation zone last season. They've brought in 5 free transfers alone, and they've spent about £1 million so far. And yeah, there's still some of the window to go. Paul Heckingbottom, the manager, says he needs 2 strikers, a goal-scoring midfielder, and he's also made it clear he's looking at the loan market. This could be a long season for Preston North End in the Championship. They're a goal down already at QPR, and it's confirmed. Sam was right. Ben Whiteman, own goal. Let's give you the goals that have gone in so far then. Heading up towards half-time, Oxford 0, Portsmouth 1, QPR 1, Preston 0, West Brom 1, Blackburn 0, live on TalkSport 2. The rest of the 3 o'clock games are goalless. Stoke won a penalty, ref gives a free kick the other way, remains goalless here. League 1, Wimbledon 1, Lincoln 0. Lincoln down to 10 men. Matty Stevens' penalty has put the Dons in front at Plough Lane. Elsewhere, Barnsley 0, Burton 2, Bolton 1, Plymouth 0, Exeter 2, Blackpool 1, Wycombe 0, Stockport County 1. League 2, it's Bromley 1, Barnet 0. By the way, Barnet beaten at home last season. Their goalkeeper Owen Evans had a shocker. Brilliant interview with the Barnet manager Dean Brennan by TalkSport's Ian Abrahams after the game, where he called out his keeper. Well, his keeper isn't even on the bench. this afternoon. Joe Wright on the bench, and he went out and signed Kieran Slicker, the Scottish international keeper from Ipswich on loan. He is in nets for Barnet this afternoon, but there's still a goal down. Crewe 2, Accrington 0, Fleetwood 2, Bristol Rovers 0, Oldham 1, Colchester 1, and Swindon 2, Cambridge 0. National League, Altrincham are 2 up, Braintree lead Halifax 1-0, Southend 1 up at Gateshead. It's Solihull Moors 1, Forest Green 0, Solihull Moors down to 10 men. Scunthorpe are now 1 apiece at Tamworth. Tamworth have equalised. Hayden Hollis with the goal in League One as well. Stevenage have taken the lead against Rotherham. Jamie Reid, who got a couple last week in the win at Blackpool, has opened the scoring. Stevenage 1, Rotherham United 0. Back to the National League, York 1, Sutton United 1. And in Scotland, Livingston 1, Falkirk 0. Dunfermline have just opened the scoring. They lead Airdrie 1-0. John Todd for Neil Lennon's side. And Morton lead at Falkirk by a 1-0 as well. It's Game Day Live on TalkSport. Let's go round the grounds in the friendlies to Hill Dickinson Stadium. First of all, here's TalkSport's Matt Jones.
About a minute to go until half-time here. Still Everton 0, Roma 0, but Everton continuing to have the better of this game. It's Tierno Barry who's really impressing. He's playing as the central of the 3 strikers for Everton, linking up really well with Kiernan Dewsbury Hall, and he's had a couple of further chances since you were last with me. One heading over from a cross and then surging forward and seeing a curling shot tipped around the post. At the other end, Jordan Pickford hasn't had a great amount to do, but Cristante has seen one header go wide. Everton 0, Roma 0.
To the London Stadium on TalkSport, Angelina Kelly.
It's West Ham 0, Lille 0. Lille have just had to make a substitution 38 minutes in. It's right back Isa Mandi, who has gone down once or twice with an injury already in this half. He's exited the pitch with Ousmane Touré replacing him. Lille have had more of the chances overall. New signings remain Parade and Felix Correa linking up really well. But for West Ham, they are growing into the game, but are yet to really test the Lille keeper. West Ham 0, Lille 0.
A couple of goals in a couple of minutes for Dunfermline, and both scored by Todds. John Todd and Andy Todd with the goals. Dunfermline 2, Airdrie 0, Rake lead at Ayr 1-0 as well. Dylan Easton with that goal in the very first minute of the game. Around the grounds we go in the Championship, starting here at Stoke. Mickey Gray.
A couple of minutes till the break. Stoke 0, Derby County 0. Stoke City will be very disappointed that they've not got themselves in front in this first 45 minutes because they've dominated the whole half, to be honest with you. 6 shots, 2 on target. They look a real threat, certainly in those wide positions with Sober Thomas and Emilian Manawaf down the left and right hand side, and also at the back as well. Bosun Lower looks absolutely outstanding. He's only a young man, young centre half, but he's absolutely commanding that defence, being absolutely brilliant. But Derby just can't get into the game. Trying to get Carlton Morris involved as much as he possibly can. Blacker Taylor needs to do more. The shot that he did have hasn't even gone down as a shot. It was a cross-come shot, but it was tipped round the side of the goal from Derby County, but that's probably as close as they've came. I think it's back to the drawing board in the second half. Stoke 0, Derby 0.
Has Ben Pearson been booked yet?
Not yet, Adrian.
It's not going to be long, is it?
No, we're all right. We have had a yellow card. Liam Thompson for Derby County, he got a yellow card, but other than that, they just can't get into the game, Derby. They've been really poor. I said before, I don't think they're quite ready for this game. They're not up to 100% fitness, obviously we know that, but you've got to show that little bit of quality when you get on the ball, but I've not yet to see it.
2 minutes added on at the end of the first half, 0-0 here. Let's get to the Riverside. Lucy Ward and Graham Courtney.
And it's half-time here. Middlesbrough 0, Swansea 0. Not a lot of quality is being shown in this opening 45 minutes. The best moments really coming after about, 25, 26 minutes. And Swansea early on, they looked okay going forward, and eventually a final effort from Ronald. It was a lovely strike as well. His effort has just flown wide. The keeper went for it, so just goes to show how close that one was. A minute later, ball in from the Swansea right, and Liam Cullen with a glancing header. Good save by Sol Bryn in the Borough goal. That actually was the first save from either keeper in this game. Best moment for the Borough, well, that came in the 29th minute. It was down at the other end, of course. Morgan Whittaker, he's on the edge of the D. Big season, as I mentioned earlier, for him. He's got to really turn something up this season. He's gone for broke, he's let fly from the edge of the D, and the Swans keeper's touched it onto the crossbar. But overall, Lucy, just got to say, in terms of finishing, not a lot of quality out.
Yeah, not a lot of quality, both teams. I think the last 10 minutes, it was stop-start. There's been a lot of yellow cards without actually the game bubbling over. And I think Swansea, their best bet, the set pieces for Swansea have been good, the delivery's been good, the invention's been good, so you can sort of see them grabbing something from a set piece, but they've just got a a lack of poke in the final third. They've just not got that little bit. Middlesbrough, the fans have been sort of sighing because they're not connected passes well, and it's just not quite at the quality. Yes, everybody's giving 100% effort and running around and closing down, but just a lack of effort is the best way to describe the first half.
Of course, it's the opening game of the season. When you played at the top level, did you find it difficult, your opening game?
Yeah, I mean, it's the both really. I mean, Rob Edwards coming as new manager for Middlesbrough, and it's difficult because he hasn't probably got in the squad that he wants in terms of the personnel in certain positions of wing backs, of a centre forward. So he's trying to teach them how he wants to play this back three system, as well as them playing championship games. Swansea now, big expectations because of how they finished last season, that they should be now pushing for the playoffs. So, you know, coming into this, you can see the run around, you can see the effort and endeavour, but it's just about fine-tuning in the final third.
Exactly. We are half-time at the Riverside. Middlesbrough 0, Swansea 0.
A couple of goals in the National League just before half-time. Scunthorpe retake the lead at Tamworth 2-1, and Wealdstone take the lead over National League New Boys Truro by a goal to Alenzo Baldwin with the goal. And in Scotland, Livingston go 2 up against Falkirk. Lewis Smith. Half-time whistle's gone here at Stoke. Mickey Gray.
Where it is Stoke City 0, Derby County 0. A first half dominated by Mark Robbins of Stoke City. Could have went in front early on in the game. A couple of really good headers from Junho Bay on 2 minutes. Didn't really get enough power on his header to beat the Derby goalkeeper. Then Basil Lowell on 26 minutes as well. He found himself free in the area from a lovely cross from Manouef over on this right hand side. Again, couldn't quite get enough pace on his header. Sober Thomas with an overhead volley again threatened the Derby County goal, and just on the stroke of half-time, Divine Mubama with a left-foot strike on the edge of the 18-yard area came close for Stoke City. They have been the dominant side, and Mark Robbins will be pleased, also a little disappointed that they've not put the ball in the back of the net. As for Derby County, they've been poor. They need to show a little bit more in the second half, and I'm sure that's what John Eustace is saying to his players. Certainly in that final third, the players have got to try and connect with each other, create opportunities, because for 45 minutes they've not been able to do that. Hopefully more in the second half. Stoke 0, Derby 0.
Yeah, could do better. Derby County. Stoke need to put the ball in the back of the net. Let's go to Carrow Road. Half-time there. Dean Ashton and Mike Sewell.
Norwich 0, Millwall 0. Norwich the better team for much of the first half, though Millwall finished it very strongly. Kamil Nedley's shot was well saved by Vladan Kovacevic in the Norwich goal after Jeffrey Schlupp's clearance was a poor one. Norwich's best chance fell after just 10 minutes. Mirko Topic, one of their new arrivals, with a 20-yard shot which was blocked by Taganga en route to goal. And while Norwich looked very good offensively, they looked a little shaky at times at the back, Dean.
Yeah, a little bit, and that's going to take some getting used to. Of course it is, with a new system and certainly new personnel as well within the team. But for long periods of that half, Norwich were very comfortable, looked pretty slick in getting the ball from the defensive line in towards Josh Sargent. I've just been really, really disappointed with Forson and Cernat, both playing in behind Sargent, quite narrow, offering very, very little. Not that willingness to run in behind. I'm not understanding that part yet. I'm sure it's something Liam Manning will work on, and Millwall just grew into it. What they haven't lost under Alex Neil is the Millwall we've come to love, which is they make the game very, very difficult for the opposition. They've upset the players of the opposition. It's been very scrappy in that sense, and then they've grown into the game, getting the ball forwards quickly towards Coburn and Ivanovic, and then looking to be strong from set plays, which I think they will be all season.
Half-time at Carrow Road, then Norwich 0, Millwall 0.
Lee Carsley, the England under-21 head coach, is right in front of us here at Stoke City. Fair few players on the pitch. He could well be watching this afternoon for the international youngsters. Let's go to the Hawthorns. Half-time there, Jeff Peters.
It's West Brom 1, Blackburn 0. Ryan Mason's first game in charge of the Baggies is going to plan. Always helps with an early goal. It came after 15 minutes. Darnell Furlong's long throw into the box caused some chaos. Arne Hegerber on debut with a touch into the path of Isaac Price, and the highly rated 21-year-old steered calmly through a crowd of players. He's had a couple of other chances, including a clever free kick kept out by Bolash Tot, and the keeper made a full stretch save when it looked like Hegerber would double the lead. Blackburn second best, but they did pick up towards the end of the half. One notable chance, Yuki Ohashi denied by Griffiths, and the striker had claims for a penalty waved away. Hannah Hampton just about to be introduced to the crowd here. She is a Baggies fan. The game, by the way, is live on TalkSport 2. It's West Brom 1, Blackburn 0.
And she was on TalkSport this week. It was a really good bit of radio. She's good fun. The England number 1, the European champion. Scudder Loftus Road half-time. TalkSport, Sam Ellard.
QPR dominated the first half and deservedly go into the break, leading Preston 1-0. An incredible assist from Kaida Dembele, running down the left-hand side, beating a couple of defenders, and a dangerous ball across the face of goal. It was cleared by Gibson, but it bounced straight off Preston's Ben Whiteman and went into the back of the net. Nothing that Whiteman could do about it. So QPR dominated the first half and all the possession. Preston really poor, spending all game inside their own half, and will be happy to go in not more than 1-0 down. QPR good value for their lead at half-time. QPR 1, Preston 0.
Half-time at Oxford as well. TalkSport's Alex Crook.
And it's Oxford 0, Portsmouth 1. The diminutive Australian Adrian Sekic with a goal on his debut that separates the two teams. It came in the 38th minute. Colby Bishop was sent through one-on-one. Probably should have scored himself, the Pompey captain. Denied by a save from Jamie Cumming, but there was Sekic on the rebound to tuck neatly into the bottom corner from just inside the penalty area. He could have had a second. Moments later, it was a rasping 22-yard strike that forced a fine flying save from Cumming away to his right-hand side. The Oxford goalkeeper has been far busier than his Pompey counterpart, Nicola Schmidt. The only chance that Oxford created was a shot from the edge of the box from Cameron Brannigan that Schmidt turned behind for a corner. Of course, Gary Rowett came in halfway through last season, steered Oxford away from relegation danger. On the evidence of this first half, it looks like it may well be another season of struggle for the home team. Oxford 0, Portsmouth 1.
A couple of goals to tell you about late in the first half. Brackley lead Eastleigh 1-0. Shane Burns penalty. Brackley, who finally got promoted from National League North. 5 of the last 7 seasons they've missed out in the playoffs. The other 2 seasons were COVID hit. They've been the bridesmaids so many times, but finally got promoted. They lead 1-0 on day 1 this afternoon. And Braintree go 2 up against Halifax. Frankie Terry with the goal, the second, just before half-time. I was actually at a wedding last week, and John Terry was there. Frankie is his nephew. He's telling me that Frankie's got a chance, needs another loan spell. Well, he's got it, and he's got a goal this afternoon as well. Braintree 2, Halifax 0. Let's go to the League One game at Adams Park. Half-time for TalkSport's Chris Hull.
Wickham 0, Stockport 1. Last season's playoff bridesmaids basking in the brilliant Buckingham sunshine. Wickham still looking for their first win at the moment, and Stockport heading for back-to-back opening wins, and they deservedly lead here. Excellent by County's Jack Diamond on 10 minutes. Diamond shining, piercing inside the penalty area, pulls it back into Carl Wootton, and he converts side-footed in accomplished style, and that's 2 in 2 for Wootton at the start of this campaign. Fred Onyedinma with Wickham's best chance of the half after a mazy run and shot saved by the legs of the County keeper in the dying minutes of the half. Half-time, Wickham 0, Stockport 1.
Also in League One half-time at Bolton, Simon Crabtree.
Yeah, and it's Bolton Wanderers 1, Plymouth Argyle 0 here. Plymouth did start brightly, but when Bolton stepped up a gear, they opened the scoring. On 20 minutes, captain Owen Toll powering a header home for Bolton's first goal of the season. And the home side dominated after that, albeit with half chances. It was a little bit scrappy. While Plymouth did push, Tom Cleverley will know that his team have to do better in the final third in the second half, while Stephen Schumacher definitely will be the happier manager against his former side. At the break, it's Bolton Wanderers 1, Plymouth Argyle 0.
Half-time in League Two, and surprise, surprise, Gareth Ainsworth's side is drawing again, Ian Abrahams.
Yeah, Gillingham 0, Walsall 0, a case of coulda, woulda, shoulda here. Gillingham could have scored when Bradley Dack from the edge of the area had a volley which just dipped over the crossbar. Walsall would have scored had it not been for a really good save on the line by Glenn Morris from a header from close range from Mason Hancock from a free kick. But Gillingham should have scored when Matt Clark's corner early on found Robbie McKenzie 6 yards out. He only had to get his effort on target, and it would have been a goal for Gillingham. However, he put it wide, and that was our best chance of the first half in the sunshine in Kent. Gillingham 0, Walsall 0.
Late goal and half-time at the London Stadium in a friendly. Angelina Kelly.
It's West Ham 0, Lille 1, and the goal came from Olivier Giroud. Haraldsson crossed the ball into the box straight to Giroud, who chests it down, does a 180 spin and fires it into the top right corner. He may be 38, but he's looked about 18 today with some of his acrobatics. Lille have had more of the chances in the first 45 minutes and looked really dangerous at times. Their new left-back, Romain Perraud, who was only officially announced from Real Betis yesterday, has looked very impressive in particular. Meanwhile, Graham Potter has been on the touchline, barking instructions to his West Ham side. I think he would have liked to have seen them be a little bit more clinical. They have had their chances before the Lille goal. They had a good run of possession with captain Bowen and Ward-Prowse looking lively when called into action. West Ham 0, Lille 1.
Half-time at Hill Dickinson Stadium as well, Matt Jones.
Yeah, Everton 0, Roma 0 here at the break. Everton having the better of the opening 40 or so minutes, but then Roma really came into it as the half drew to a close. Angelino, the former Manchester City player, with a thumping shot that rattled the bar, and then Soulé having a shot pushed around the post by Jordan Pickford at a tight angle. At the other end, though, Tieno Barry's been the best player for Everton. He should have put them ahead, really, when he was set through by Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, but missed his kick, and Roma were able to clear. He's had a couple of other efforts as well, one of them tipped around the post, and then James Tarkowski nodding wide as well. We've just had a presentation on the pitch here involving Fabio Capello and Peter Reid. There's a Legends match on after this one, both of those involved in that. Fabio Capello from a Roma point of view, and of course Peter Reid from Everton. It is at the break, Everton 0, Roma 0.
This is game day.
Half-time classifieds.
In the Championship, full times from earlier: Charlton 1, Watford 0, Coventry 0, Hull City 0, and Southampton 2, Wrexham 1. Half times now: Middlesbrough 0, Swansea 0, Norwich 0, Millwall 0, Oxford 0, Portsmouth 1, QPR 1, Preston 0, Stoke 0, Derby 0, West Brom 1, Blackburn 0, and Sheffield United Bristol City is at 5:30. It's live on TalkSport 2 after our commentary of West Brom 1, Blackburn 0. League 1, full times: Peterborough 0, Luton 2, Reading 0, Huddersfield 2. Half times: Wimbledon 1, Lincoln 0, Barnsley 0, Burton 2, Bolton 1, Plymouth 0, Exeter 2, Blackpool 1, Leyton Orient 1, Wigan 0, Mansfield 0, Doncaster 0, Northampton 0, Bradford 0, Stevenage 1, Rotherham 0, Wycombe 0, Stockport 1. League 2, full times: Notts County 1, Salford 2, Tranmere 4, Shrewsbury 0. Half times: Barrow 0, MK Dons 0, Bromley 1, Barnet 0, Cheltenham 0, Chesterfield 0, Crawley 0, Newport 0, Crewe 2, Accrington 0, Fleetwood 2, Bristol Rovers 0, Gillingham 0, Walsall 0, Harrogate 0, Grimsby 0, Oldham 1, Colchester 1, Swindon 2, Cambridge United 1. In the National League, half times: Altrincham 2, Aldershot 0, Borehamwood 0, Rochdale 0, Boston Morecambe match postponed, Brackley 1, Eastleigh 0, Braintree 2, Halifax 0, Gateshead 0, Southend 1, Solihull Moors 1, Forest Green 0, Tamworth 1, Scunthorpe 2, Wealdstone 1, Truro 0, Woking 0, Carlisle 0, Yeovil 0, Hartlepool 0, York 1, Sutton United 1. In the Scottish Premiership, Livingston 2, Falkirk 0, St Mirren 0, Motherwell 0, Rangers Dundee is at 5:45. In the Scottish Championship, Ayr United 0, Wraith Rovers 1, Dunfermline 2, Airdrie 0, Falkirk 0, Morton 1, Queen's Park 0, Arbroath 0. Scottish League 1, East Fife 0, Alloa Athletic 0, Inverness 1, Peterhead 0, Montrose 1, Kelty Hearts 1, Queen of the South 0, Hamilton 2, Stenhousemuir 1, Cove Rangers 0, and in Scottish League 2, Clyde 0, Forfar 0, Elgin 0, East Kilbride 0, Spartans 0, Dumbarton 2, Stirling 0, Annan Athletic 0, and Stranraer 0, Edinburgh City 0.
It's a big match day, and Coral's Reward Shaker has turned gold. There's guaranteed wins today. Oh, a big win for the Group Chat tipsters. Super tips, super-sized free bets. And that's a golden shake from the Full Kit Fanatics. A £10 cash prize to match those number 10 shirts. Play Coral's free Golden Reward Shaker for bigger guaranteed football rewards. Coral, we're here for it.
18 plus UK. Max 1 reward or offer per player per day. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Golden Shaker available on selected days. Reward restrictions and T's and C's apply. Gambleaware.org.
Just drop me off around the corner. It's a phrase no parent wants to hear, especially when it's about your car. So upgrade to a new 75-plate electric model they'll love to be seen in at the BYD Back to School sales event. From the 15th to the 25th of August, enjoy up to £1,100 off selected BYD models, plus a complimentary service. Visit your local BYD retailer and make the school run electric. T's and C's apply.
When you're growing a small business, you need someone who understands the ins and outs. And whether you're a tailor or an accountant, you need the tools to succeed. With an HSBC Small Business Banking account, you'll have free accounting tools and access to our business specialists, virtually or in person. Because whatever your small business looks like, we're with you all the way. Search HSBC Small Business Banking Account to get started. Subject to application, eligibility, credit check and T's and C's. Visit hsbc.co.uk for details.
At Betfred, we're proud to back British horse racing. The lightning speed, the thunder of hooves, the roar of the crowd. This flat season, Betfred are making history as the first bookmaker to sponsor all 5 British Classics. Check out our range of horse racing markets, daily offers and price boosts in shops and online. Love racing? Betfred. Selected races only. T's and C's apply. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
The throbbing heart of the football machine. Game day on Talk Sport.
Well, second half's about to get underway, and that includes our commentary over on TalkSport 2. West Brom 1, Blackburn 0. Commentary of the second half about to get underway, but we've already brought you 2 live exclusive Championship commentaries on the TalkSport network this lunchtime.
The opening weekend 3 years ago, Southampton went to Spurs and Wrexham hosted Eastleigh. The Red Dragons back in the second tier, hoping the fourth part of football's Hollywood blockbuster can conjure up the happiest ending yet. It's Kiefer Moore trying to find a way through. Was he pushed? Yes, he was. Penalty to Wrexham.
What is Ronnie Edwards thinking of?
Josh Winders, this is his moment. Stuttering run up, and he drives it into the bottom right-hand corner.
I just want to make sure that each and every week we play with the manner we've done today. Sometimes people think we've just spent money and it's just clicked. We've worked hard on the training ground, and we've done that this week, and I thought in the main we implemented that well. Just 2 moments of proof costly.
You know, you always want to create that sort of positive vibe and positive feeling with everyone around.
Hardy trying to get in. This could win it. Oh, good save.
A lot of talking points in the game. That goes in, it's game over. The stadium starts emptying.
Manning addresses it. Left-footed, great free kick. 1-1.
Players coming on, making a difference. I know how important set pieces are going to be.
And they will feel there's still time to win it.
30 yards out, what a strike.
And it's in on the underside of the bar. Southampton have won it right at the end through Jack Stevens.
Yeah, somehow poke the ball over the line and grab a winner in the last minute, which is, you know, why we do this job and why it's so special.
What a league the Championship is.
Gives it back to Van Ivik. So many bodies in there. It was hit the post. Sakamoto with a follow-up.
This league's hard, you know, and for whatever reason, in the last 3 years, there's been playing catch-up.
Neither goalkeeper has had a really aggressive save to make.
I'm probably demanding because I want us to be successful, and I've done this job for a few years now, so I want us to be able to compete.
Coventry City 0.